Chapter 10:14. The two chatted casually for a while. Xianxia looked down at the time and said, "My boyfriend's flight has arrived. Annie, wait here for a while. I'll pick him up and help him with his luggage." "Wait? You're helping him with his luggage? Does he not have hands or legs?" Xianxia said angrily. Xianxia said innocently, "He's very delicate. I'm afraid he'll be tired." What kind of boyfriend did little Tutu find? Xianxia, who had lived abroad for a long time, did not know much about the domestic entertainment industry. Her impression of Shui was also stuck at the time when he was a teenager. She pondered for a moment and said, "If that's the case, I'll go with you." "Huh? No, I can do it, Annie." "You can't." "I can do it. I don't want you to think." "I want you to think." Under Xianxia's insistence, Xianxia had to agree. The two walked through the VIP passage and saw Shui at the end. The man had just gotten off the plane and was wearing a clean and warm white turtleneck sweater. He took out his phone from his trouser pocket, turned off the airplane mode, and sent a message to Xianxia immediately. Xianxia waved at him and said, Here. Shui turned his head. After seeing Xianxia, the slightly sharp and cold aura around him disappeared. Like a frozen lake welcoming spring, his eyebrows and eyes were full of smiles. Xianxia stepped forward and said, "I'll help you with your luggage." Shui chuckled and said, "Okay, then let's exchange." Xianxia, who was not far away, pursed her lips and was a little disgusted. However, when Xianxia took Shui's boarding box, she found that the man's box was too light. On the contrary, her pile of wool was heavier. "Why do you have so few things?" "I can't help it. I want to go home." While talking, the two walked to Xianxia. Shui called out gently, "Auntie." Xianxia flipped her long hair and said, "Please don't. You haven't married into our family, so it's not appropriate for you to call me Auntie. Call me Madam Xiang." "Auntie," Xianxia protested softly. Shui chuckled and said, "Miss Xiang, it's only 10 years. Xianxia put on a fake smile. "I remember what you said at that time. I won't be tempted by any girl in this world." "What does this mean?" Xianxia knew that he was just being impulsive, but she still felt unhappy. Little Tutu is so cute. There is no pig in this world that is worthy of her. Shui couldn't help laughing. Tutu is different. Tutu is a little fairy. Glib tongue. Shui didn't defend himself. He walked through the VIP passage to the parking lot and opened the car door for the two ladies. After getting into the car, he took the initiative to pick up Xianxi's crochet needle and started knitting. He was actually knitting better and faster than Xianxia. Xianxia thought, "I think I can do it too." She tried, but she couldn't even lift the needle, so she gave up on the spot. This is not something that can be done by humans at all. At the side, Shui's fingers flew nimbly and cleverly. Xianxia said with a sharp tongue, "You're inhuman." If it were anyone else, they would probably mind and get angry. But Shui said gently, "This is just a small trick. It's just a small trick. Ms. Xiang, you're the one who's at the peak of jewelry design." "I like your designs the most," Xianxia interrupted him. "I know, you're going to talk about the Drunken Red makeup series, right? That was Xianxia's famous work, and it was also the most well-known set of jewelry designs." Shui said gently, "I like the Drunken Red makeup series too, but I still like You're Such a Country the most." Xianxia coughed softly. Is that so? Chapter 10:15. For a long time, people with ulterior motives approached Xianxia and mentioned the Drunken Red makeup series. In fact, Xianxia was quite disgusted. But what Shui mentioned was a set of unpopular designs that had not been officially sold. There were only drawings and a set of finished products, which were now collected in a foreign art museum. Xianxia herself liked that series of works very much, and even had a good impression of Shui. Then, Xianxia enjoyed her boyfriend's 10-minute bootlicking. Shui praised Xianxia's Such a Country from all angles. His words were gorgeous, his professional knowledge was profound, and his art appreciation was superb. Xianxia was simply amazed. Originally, she was worried that her aunt would not like Shui and would mercilessly ridicule her like how she treated her little uncle. Unexpectedly, 10 minutes later, Xianxia looked at Shui with a much gentler gaze and said with satisfaction, "You're a good child." "Xianxia, I'm very relieved to leave Tutu in your hands. Xianxia, when are you going to get married? I have to design wedding rings for you. Xianxia, sure. Sui smiled slightly. Progress bar on Ant, from 0% to 100%. It was that simple. Along the way, Xianxia thought that her aunt had changed, but when they returned to the old mansion, her little uncle and aunt bumped into each other. Xiangfeng instinctively trembled and took 2 steps back. His 3 souls were all out of his body as he looked around to see if there was a taller tree. Xiangwan crossed her arms and said lazily, "Feng Feng." Xiangfeng puffed out his chest and stood at attention. "Here, I heard that you rubbed off a piece of paint on my off-fan's little cutie." Xiangwan liked to buy cars, and the little cuties she mentioned were all kinds of sports cars, off-road vehicles, and large motorcycles. Xiangfeng said with a sad face, "It's just a small piece, really. Sis, it's just a small piece." Xiangwan hooked her finger. "Come here. I won't. Don't force me to go over." His tone was threatening. Xiangfeng inched to her side and caught a glimpse of Xianxia and Shui out of the corner of his eye. "Sis, Lil, Xianxia and Shui are still here." "Ears. Sis, come over here yourself." Xianxia tugged at Shui's sleeve. "Ahem. Maybe you want to watch the clouds with me?" Shui chuckled. "My pleasure." "Woo-woo." Xiangfeng hunched over. The 1.8-meter-tall man pitifully put his ear in front of Xiangwan. Xiangwan grabbed it and turned on her machine gun mode. "Did you grow your head to look taller? His IQ is thinner than the oxygen in the Himalayas, and the pit in his brain is deeper than the Liana Trench. Where do you get the guts to touch my little cutie? Cry, cry, cry your head. I dare you to cry one more time. Squat down, put your hands on your head, and do 100 frog jumps." Xiangfeng, Weiic, compared to Xiangwan, even the great demon king Xianxia seemed gentle and cute. After the frog jumps, Xiangfeng was already a cripple. Trembling, he used his last breath to send a voice message in the group. "Xiangwan is back." "Xiangyu, horrifying." "JPG. Xiangqi, help demon my little aunt." "Xiangli, sanction." The next second, a message popped up in the group. "Xiangwan." I'm smiling the group. For a moment, everyone was in danger. Xiangyu has withdrawn a message. Xiangqi has withdrawn a message. Xiangli has withdrawn a message. Only Xianxia hadn't withdrawn a message. Xianxia and Shui whispered to each other, "Big brother is still the best." A moment later, a message appeared on the screen. "Xianxia has left the group chat. Everyone?" Chapter 10:16. Big brother actually left the group chat. As expected of the woman whom even the demon is afraid of, help. In the living room of the old mansion, Xiangwan clicked her tongue and said, "I haven't taught Xianxia a lesson in a long time. I wonder how his ears feel now." Xianxia shivered. "Annie is too strong." Xiangfeng, who was at the side, seemed to be facing a formidable enemy. He moved closer to Madame Xiang and complained like a primary school student. "Mom, look at her. She's a girl. How can she be so shrewish and barbaric? She won't be able to find a boyfriend." Madame Xiang pretended to be deaf. "What are you talking about? I can't hear you clearly." "Hello." Xiangfeng was speechless. "Mother, your acting is so clumsy." She sneered. "I'm shrewish? Barbaric?" Xiangfeng shivered. No, sister. You're clearly the most gentle, beautiful, and adorable woman in the world." It could be said that he had a strong desire to survive. Xiangwan flexed her wrist and said, "Come here." Xiangfeng felt a dull pain in his ears again and tried his best to hide behind Madame Xiang. Madame Xiang wanted to say something, but hesitated. "Don't come over. I'm scared too." When Xiangwan started to ridicule her own mother, she was also very sharp. "Mom, you're spoiling him too much. He's already in his 30s, but he doesn't behave properly every day. He secretly orders junk food deliveries behind your backs. Not only does he eat it himself, he even brought Tutu to eat junk food. What kind of behavior is that? He's instigating a crime." Madame Xiang's gaze turned cold, and she looked at Xiangfeng. "Go over." Xiangfeng was speechless. "Mom, you don't love me anymore." Xiangfeng's wails echoed in the living room. In order to hide from Xiangwan, he jumped up and down in the room. Xiangyin reprimanded him, but the corners of his mouth curled up. We're a family. It's better to be lively. As for Xiang Feng getting beaten up, how dare he bring Tutu to eat junk food? He deserves it. After a long period of chaos, Xiang Wan gracefully sipped her afternoon tea. Xiang Feng stood at the door, carrying a small suitcase. I can't take this anymore. I want to run away from home. Don't stop me. The living room was so silent that one could hear a pin drop. Xiang Feng put his hand on the doorframe and asked, unwilling to give up, Are you really not going to make me stay? Madam Xiang, oh. Xiang Yin said, oh. Xiang Wan said, Hurry up and leave. Xiang Yi said softly, Little uncle, remember to come back for dinner if you're hungry. Xiang Feng's eyes were brimming with tears. Little Xiang Yi was still the best. What a heartwarming little cotton-padded jacket. Uncle didn't spoil you for nothing. The next second, he heard the little rabbit say, If you're not hungry, then don't come back. Otherwise, Annie will beat you up again, Xiang Feng. I'm not afraid of her. I was just giving her face, that's all. Oomph. He flicked his sleeves and left. No matter how one looked at his back, it was lonely. As soon as Xiang Feng left, the housekeeper came in and reported, Young miss, there are 2 girls outside. They claim to be your junior high school classmates. Huh? Xiang Yi got up and said, I'll go take a look. Xiang Wan frowned, but she didn't stop her. Shi Sui seemed to have sensed something and asked in a low voice, Why has Tutu never mentioned her classmates? Wow, this mansion is really grand. Yeah, I didn't expect Xiang Yi's family to be so impressive. Building a mansion in a place where every inch of land is expensive is really not something that can be done with money. The 2 young girls chattered nonstop. When they saw Xiang Yi, they greeted her enthusiastically. Xiang Yi, do you still remember us? Xiang Yi said indifferently, Sorry, I don't remember. Chapter 10:17. No way. You actually don't remember us? We were your middle school classmates. Girl A's tone was exaggerated, as if Xiang Yi had done something unforgivable. Girl B blinked and said sympathetically, Xiang Yi, don't tell me you're still holding a grudge over what happened back then. Okay. We'll apologize to you, okay? A few big question marks appeared on Xiang Yi's little head. When she was young, her grandparents took care of her. The 2 of them liked to live in different cities for a while, so she transferred schools many times in middle school and high school. In addition, she kept skipping grades, so she didn't remember many of her classmates. At that time, all her time was filled to the brim. In addition to studying, she also had to study medicine and Xianxia. Occasionally, when she had free time, she would run off to study gardening, cooking, and so on. Now that 2 girls suddenly appeared and said they were her classmates, Xiang Yi really didn't have any recollection of them. Girl A said unhappily, Xiang Yi, you're too petty? Didn't we just bully you back then? Why are you still holding a grudge? Before she finished speaking, Girl B bumped her elbow and said with a smile, No, you misunderstood. We were just joking with you back then. Girl A suddenly sobered up and quickly corrected herself. Yes, we were just joking with you. Do you have to hold a grudge over it for so many years? Xiang Yi's eyes were tired. She felt that it was better to knit a few more scarves than to waste time talking nonsense with them. So, ahem, we're already here. Can't you even let us drink a cup of tea? Is this how the Xiang family treats their guests? Girl A's words were meant for the housekeeper. She thought that the Xiang family's housekeeper would definitely be smooth and slick and take care of everything. He would definitely let them in. That way, the 2 of them would be able to bring up the matter of the invitation letter. Unexpectedly, the housekeeper was expressionless. Young miss, are they really your classmates? I don't know either. Girl A was anxious. How could we lie about something like this? Girl B was more shrewd. She took out a school badge from her bag. This is Xingyin Junior High School's badge. I've been keeping it. Xiang Yi tried to recall. I think I studied in that school for about a month. That's right. We are classmates from the class next door. The butler was speechless. How could they be considered classmates? But then again, Little Miss was always bullied by her classmates in the past. Sigh. He really felt bitterly disappointed for Little Mississippi. If that's the case, then come in and have some afternoon tea, Xiang Yi said lazily as she asked the housekeeper to bring her half-knitted scarf. In the courtyard, a young girl yawned. She was lazy and sleepy, but the speed at which she knitted the scarf was very fast. Her white and slender hands fluttered in the wind, and it was pleasing to the eye. The butler served the three of them English tea and French desserts, bowed, and left. Girlie took a sip of tea and praised, "Xianxia, your tea is so good. Wow, this dessert is so beautiful. Can I take a picture?" "Feel free." She took out her phone and kept taking selfies. She muttered that she would upload them to her WeChat moments later. Girlie secretly cursed her for being an idiot. She smiled at Xianxia. "Xianxia, I heard that your aunt returned to the country. According to tradition, she's going to hold a party. I want to ask, do you have any more invitations for us?" "Of course, it's fine if you don't. We don't want to cause trouble for you." Chapter 10:18. Xianxia yawned, her doe eyes glistening with tears. No, Girl B's words were beautiful, but her eyes betrayed her. Her fingers unconsciously clenched the hem of her skirt. "Girl, it couldn't be bothered to take photos anymore. It's just 2 invitations. Xianxia, can't you just tell your aunt? We're classmates after all. Aren't you going to give us some face? Or are you saying you can't even get an invitation?" Xianxia said, "Well, I can't. I'm useless. I can't get one." "No way. How can you be so mean to yourself?" Girl A was impatient and wanted to say more, but Girl B kicked her calf under the table. She immediately shut up. "Xianxia, do you still remember the Lover's Lake and the cherry blossoms at Xingyin High? A lot of people go there now." Girl B changed the topic as if nothing had happened. Girl A suddenly realized. So they're trying to play the emotional card. Thus, the two of them started to reminisce about their so-called youth with Xianxia. As they chatted, Xianxia casually asked a few questions and got the whole story. "Xianxia, we didn't mean to ignore you back then. Yeah. We didn't mean to lock you in the bathroom. Besides, didn't you kick the door open yourself? We didn't mean to report you either. You received too many love letters and gifts, so you were targeted by the dean." Xianxia fell into deep thought. Back then, was she bullied in school? In the living room. That's pretty much it. Tutu used to be bullied in school. Fortunately, she was slow and never thought that others were bullying her. Xianxia blamed herself when she talked about the past. Xianxia changed schools many times, but she never had any lingering feelings. At first, the Xiang family didn't think much of it, but later on, they found it strange. It seemed like she never had any friends. It wasn't until one time, when Xianxia secretly went to the school to see Bunny, that she realized what Xianxia had gone through. On the surface, Xianxia was a popular figure in the school and was very popular. In fact, all kinds of cold violence, soft violence, and verbal violence emerged one after another. Xianxia was very polite to everyone, but because she was too busy to socialize, she kept a distance from her classmates. In the eyes of her peers, Xianxia was arrogant, cold-blooded, and condescending. Therefore, some people were like rats in the dark, secretly doing things that could not be exposed. Thinking about it now, Xianxia still felt angry. Although she had already taught those scumbags a lesson behind Xiangxi's back, Lin Mingya knew that Lin Mingya was not a good person. Shi Sui pushed his glasses up with his fingers, the lenses reflecting coldness. He slowly stood up and walked towards the courtyard. Xianxia thought about it and walked out with him. The two of them stood on the steps and heard the conversation of the 3 girls in the courtyard. "Xianxia, we were just joking back then. Now that I think about it, isn't it funny? Please don't take it to heart. Forgive us, okay?" Hearing this, Xianxia couldn't take it anymore. She rushed forward in her slippers, and her flats gave off a swift and decisive aura. She quickly grabbed the hair of the 2 girls and said, "What are you doing? Joking? You guys look like a joke to me." "Forgive? Why should I forgive you? Who do you think you are? Your existence is probably to prove the validity of the biological diversity theory. Our Tutu has my protection, understand?" Chapter 10:19. The 2 girls were so frightened that their faces turned pale and they shrieked. "Ah!" Xianxia let go of the 2 girls in disgust and wiped her fingers carefully with a wet towel. The 2 girls' meticulously styled hairstyles were now a mess, and they looked rather pathetic. Girl A was furious. "Who are you? Who are you to treat us like this?" Facing Xianxia's bright and beautiful face, The rest of the words were automatically silenced, and no sound could be heard. She's actually the daughter of the Xiang family. Girlby apologized meekly. Miss Xiang, we didn't do it on purpose. If we disturb you, we're really sorry. All right. You're already a 1,000-year-old fox, so why are you still acting like a little white lotus? Xiangwan rolled her eyes. Back then, weren't you the one who led the pack to isolate us little bunnies? Xiangwan had never liked scheming people like her. Under Xiangwan's domineering aura, Girlby's face turned paler and paler. Cold sweat kept seeping out of her forehead, and her foundation was a little mottled. Xiangyu was confused. Isolated? Xiangwan was confused. Don't you know that you've been isolated before? Have I? Xiangyi asked with uncertainty. Xiangwan was speechless. Should I say that being heartless is an advantage or a disadvantage? Actually, when I was a student, I never paid attention to things like social relationships. Xiangyi said in an obedient and soft voice. As long as my heart is firm enough, the disturbances of the outside world won't affect me at all. Besides, they can't bully me. Girlie sobbed. Yes, we locked her in the washroom, but she kicked the door open and smashed a few of us. We gossiped about her, but she didn't care at all. Instead, we were beaten up by the school bully. By the way, she even has a fan club. We were scolded for a long time. We reported that she was in a relationship, and the dean not only punished her, but also found the informant. During the flag-raising ceremony, a large group of us took turns to read the flag. Xiang, he was speechless. Xiangwan, listening to the girl's tearful complaints, those who did not know the truth would probably think that she was the one who was bullied. Don't be an eyesore here. Scram. Xiangwan's sharp eyes swept over them, and the two girls trembled like quails. You support me, I support you, and quickly leave. Xiangwan pretended that nothing had happened and wanted to go back to the living room, but Xiangyi grabbed her wrist. Auntie, the young girl's eyes were curved and her dimples were shallow. Didn't you say before that you didn't care about me at all? Then how did you know that I was bullied? Xiangwan said stubbornly, I don't care now. As soon as he opened his mouth, he sounded like an old tsundere from the Xiang family. But you helped me teach them a lesson just now. Are you seeing things? Your aunt is already an adult. Do you think I'm the kind of person who would stand up for the younger generation and fight with a little girl? Xianxia laughed out loud and held Xiangwan's arm, leaning her head on her shoulder. Auntie, you're so good. She was so lucky to have such a family. On the surface, they supported her, but in the dark, they protected her so that she could grow up without any worries. Although she had lost her parents' love, she had received a lot of love. She inadvertently looked up and met Shui's gentle and clear eyes. The young girl's smile deepened. There was now one more person who loved her in this world. Dad, Mom, you can rest assured. Chapter 1020. A few days later, one of the directors managed to contact Xiang Yi through Director Yin and Li Jianyu's connections. A live stream party? Yes, the netizens are now very interested in the lifestyle of the wealthy. Of course, we also learned that the invited socialites also want to use this opportunity to increase their influence. The director rambled on. Xiangyi went to ask for her aunt's opinion. Xiangwan was quite open-minded and had always liked new things. Hence, the live stream was quickly finalized. When the invited socialites found out that the party was going to be live-streamed, they put in even more effort to prepare for it. There were already several who fought over Xiangqi's handmade haute couture dresses. On the day of the party, Xiang Yin and Madame Xiang preferred tranquility, but they would always accede to their daughter's requests. The two of them went on a day trip accompanied by their future grandson-in-law, Shui, and vacated the old mansion to host a party for Xiangwan. The decoration style was simple and refreshing, with floral patterns, lace, bows, and other girly elements as embellishments. At 10 o'clock in the morning, the live stream began. Countless curious netizens swarmed in, wanting to see what the gathering of the top socialites was like. The director was well aware of the public psychology. Several cameras were filming the details of the banquet from different angles. The comment section was full of exclamations from netizens. Damn, they're actually using real flowers. I've seen this flower in a florist before. It's a cream-colored lily of the valley imported from France. Each flower costs 2 digits, but the Xiang family is actually using them as decorations. Oh, isn't this dessert from the Nanxing Hotel, which is a must-have for internet celebrities? Even an afternoon tea is so expensive. I really want to transmigrate into the body of a rich and beautiful woman to eat dessert on the spot. QAQ venue design professionals are crying in a storm. What kind of godly design is this? Judging from the style, it should be the work of a big shot. When can I have such creativity and beauty? While the netizens were lamenting, guests began to arrive one after another. Beautiful women, dressed in gorgeous clothes, gradually became mesmerizing. The netizens began a second round of exclamations. This gauze dress is so ethereal. Damn, isn't this Brand D's spring fashion show next year? Someone actually bought it now. Sure enough, a gathering of top socialites is even more impressive than a celebrity walking the red carpet. Even A-list celebrities have to beg to get their hands on a high-end set, but the entire venue is filled with. Of course, most netizens only had one thought. Sob, 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 sister E-baby, where are you? Only God knew how difficult it was to catch a glimpse of Xianxia. It was only then that everyone realized how blissful it was to watch Xiao Po's live stream. After waiting for a long time, there was still no sign of Xianxia. However, the netizens were waiting for Xianxia to appear. She said a few simple words and raised her glass. Everyone at the scene raised their champagne glasses. It wasn't an exaggeration to say that the moment Xianxia appeared, many daughters of the world's top companies and princesses of small countries were compared to her. She was simply like a maid next to a young lady in a movie or TV series. That was the aura of a real socialite. Others could at most imitate her clothes, but they could not imitate the noble charm in her bones. Amidst the endless calls, the camera turned and caught sight of Xianxia's figure. The girl was wearing a blue and white checkered skirt, a ginger fisherman's hat, and a strawberry knitted bag. She looked simple and casual, as if she had come for a picnic. Like the moon surrounded by stars, she was surrounded by several tall and handsome figures. Xiang Yu, Xiang Qi, Xiang Li, Xianxia. It was rare that the brothers of the Xiang family were all there. The live stream instantly exploded. Chapter 1021. Which fairy tale book wasn't closed properly? That's why our little princess walked out. Xiang Yi is really God's favorite child. She's beautiful, and her 4 brothers are as good-looking as top idols. I'll show you guys how to grow lemons. Sister E, I'm your sister-in-law. Second sister-in-law is here to report for duty. Third sister-in-law must have a name. I'm fourth sister-in-law. Did I say anything? All of a sudden, sister-in-law's fans appeared, and the live stream was comparable to a large-scale reunion party. They were allowed to bring a male partner to the party today, but Shui had posted on Weibo in the morning that he was going out with Xiang Yi's grandfather, Madame Xiang. So here came the question. Someone raised the question of soul interrogation. Who will Xiang Yi dance with during the opening dance later? All of a sudden, the live stream turned from a reunion party to a place for bets. I'm betting on Big Brother. The little princess vs. the big demon. What a match. I'm betting everything on Second Brother. White versus black will win. I'm betting everything on Big Uncle Xiang. Due to the fact that there were too many words such as betting and going bankrupt, the internet police even came to the live stream and almost caught the gamblers online on a small island. The sightseeing bus was cruising slowly under the shade of the trees. There were banana trees and coconut trees everywhere along the road, making the scenery extremely beautiful. Madame Xiang was watching the live stream on her smartphone with a big screen. She said smilingly, I wonder who Tutu will choose. Xiang Yin humphed and said, It's the same no matter who she chooses. Boring. Madame Xiang said in disdain. She looked at Shui and said, Sui, it's been hard on you to accompany us on this trip. Shui was wearing a clean white cotton linen shirt and looked like a fledgling college student. He said with a faint smile, Grandma, it's my duty to accompany you guys. Aren't you curious who Xiang Yi will dance with? I bet. Shui whispered a name. Xiang Yin pricked up his ears, but didn't hear it clearly. He asked anxiously, Who is it? Madame Xiang said in displeasure. Don't you think everyone is the same? Shui said at the right time. Grandpa, Grandma, why don't we make a bet? The loser will treat the winner to coconut. Xianxia didn't care about coconut, but when he heard about the bet, he immediately got excited. I'll bet on boss. With sanctions the demon, the others will cower. Old Mrs. Xiang said, I'll bet on second brother then. Xiang, S is Xiangyi's, S name Xiang. T have Xiang, Xiang, yes name, Xiang, TT, name, Xiang, at the party. Xiang, TS, S Xiang to Xiang as well. To dance should be the Xiang. Although each invited socialite had brought a male partner, the opening dance was free to form a team, which added to the uncertainty. It made people look forward to it, but also made them feel uneasy. Hence, it became even more exciting. Xiang Wan was in charge of the opening dance, and as in previous years, she danced with Xiang Feng. Xiang Feng grimaced in pain, but he didn't dare to make a sound. He could only whisper aggrievedly, Sis, so many years have passed, but your dancing skills are still as good as ever. Huh? Xiang Yi gave him a meaningful look. Xiang Feng shuddered and said, You're still the same. You're getting better and better. Be good. I won't pull your ear today. Xiang Feng was extremely touched. Sister, you're an angel. Chapter 10:22. The camera captured this scene and broadcasted it live. The netizens couldn't help laughing. Xiang Corporation's Feng, do you still remember that you're a domineering CEO? You even had your ears pinched by your sister. Shame on you. On the other side, the four brothers of the Xiang family were fighting over Bunny to dance. I'll go first. Why should you go first? I should be the one going first. Xiang Yu and Xiang Qi were fighting like rookies. Their fighting prowess was obvious, and the netizens assumed that they had already withdrawn from the competition. The real highlight was the game between the second brother, Xiang Li, and the eldest brother, Xianxia. Xiang Li adjusted his glasses and said calmly, Big brother, you're old and your legs aren't good. I'm afraid you'll step on Tutu. Xiangyi's eyes were filled with fear. Second brother, do you want to die? The netizens also praised Xiang Li. Dr. Xiang, you're brave. Xianxia sneered. It's better than your uncoordinated limbs. Xiang Li, big brother, you hurt my heart. Xiang Li's genius brain worked quickly and chose a roundabout strategy. He looked at Xiangyi. Tutu, who do you want to dance with first? Xiangyi swallowed. I think it's okay if we don't dance. I'm not that good at dancing. She wasn't being modest, but she really wasn't that good at dancing. You have to choose. Then Xiangyi's eyes went back and forth between the two brothers and finally landed on Xiang Li. Too. She wasn't afraid of stepping on second brother, but if she stepped on big brother's foot, Xiangyi didn't dare to imagine. Xianxia said calmly, You can choose the person you like the most. Xiangyi. She swallowed the words second brother that were at the tip of her tongue. Xiangli said helplessly, Big brother, you're being immoral. Xianxia sneered. I don't need to be moral with you guys. Xiangyi, who was sandwiched in the middle, weak, helpless, and pitiful. Having too many older brothers was sometimes a problem. Suddenly, a beautiful figure entered Xiangyi's eyes. The girl's eyes lit up. I choose her. Xiangli, ? Xianxia was confused. Everyone looked in the direction she was pointing. Song Qiuqiu was holding a plate of desserts. As if realizing that something was wrong, she turned her neck and met 4 murderous gazes. Oh ho! Song Qiuqiu was startled. Xiangyi had already run in front of her. The girl's slender arm drew a semicircle in the air, the standard posture of a man inviting a woman to dance. Sister Song, may I invite you to dance? Song Qiuqiu's voice was sweet as she teased. Are you using me as a shield? Xiangyi revealed an awkward but polite smile. Who asked me to like our tutu? Song Qiuqiu gracefully hugged Xiangyi and gave her a sweet wink. Let's make it clear. I'll do the male step, and you'll do the female step. Xiangyi's ears turned slightly red. Huh? The live stream viewers. Brothers and sisters, the new cult couple has appeared. As a result, the crowd watched as the two beautiful girls hugged each other and joined the crowd for the opening dance. Without a filter, the scene still looked like pink bubbles. The cameraman specially gave the Xiang brothers a close-up. The depressed expressions on their faces were so realistic. However, Song Xiao was their future little aunt. They could ignore their little uncle, but they still had to respect their little aunt. Ha! Our tutu is so clever. Madame Xiang clapped and laughed. Old man, hurry up and buy coconuts for Sui Sui. Chapter 1023. Xiang looked like an old man on the subway who was staring at his cell phone. How did this happen? How did this happen? He couldn't figure out why the two girls could dance with their arms around each other and why there were so many people cheering in the comment section. Old man, you have to admit defeat. Xiang pursed his lips and reluctantly paid for the drinks. Shui inserted the straws one by one and handed them to Xiang and Madame Xiang before picking up her coconut. Thank you, Grandpa. Xiang drank a few mouthfuls of coconut juice and said earnestly, Sui Sui. The way he addressed her made sure Sui's hands tremble slightly, and she almost dropped the coconut. The waves in the distance were rolling, just like Sure Sui's mood at this moment. Grandpa, you'd better pay more attention in the future. We can't let other men abduct Xiang. Similarly, we can't let other women abduct her either. Sure Sui couldn't help but burst into laughter. The feeling of being acknowledged and cared for seems to be pretty good. The dance was over. Song Xiao held Xiang's waist with one hand and gently pinched Xiang's little face with the other. Because of this action, the audience applauded loudly, and the viewers of the live stream were in a frenzy. Let's go to school together. When I was a child, I wanted to be an astronaut. When I grow up, I want to be an anthropologist. I can watch this face pinch 10 times. Sister Tian X, Sister Tian, the sugar content is way over the line. Xiangyi skipped back to her brothers and reached out to Xianxia. Xianxia, my bag. The strawberry knitted bag on her back was stitched by Xianxia with great care. Even the strawberry leaves were vivid and lifelike. Do you want it? Xianxia waved the strawberry bag in front of her. Praise me with at least 200 words. Xiangyi was amused. Xiangyin, you're so childish. However, she still cooperated and began to suck up to him. Xiangyin, you're a stunning beauty and an immortal designer. You have a unique sense of aesthetics. Xianxia beamed with joy and helped her carry her bag. All right, big brother, my phone. Xiangyi looked at her fourth brother, Xiangyu. Before the dance, she had given her bag to third brother and her phone to fourth brother. Xiangyu followed suit. 300 words. The girl hesitated for a few seconds before deciding to praise him. Big brother, you're the light of esports, the #1 sniper in the country. The way Big Brother fights, your every move is like a pictorial. After much difficulty, she finally managed to scrape together 300 words. Exhausted, the young lady finally took back her phone. She felt her mouth go dry, and suddenly there was a glass of lemon soda in front of her. Second brother is so gentle and considerate. Xiangyi raised her hand to take it, but Xiangli raised his cup and smiled like a spring breeze. It's my turn. Xiangyi, this Xiangli lowered his eyelids. Is it because I'm not worthy? You don't deserve my sister's praise. Of course not. Then 500 words. In order to scrape together 500 words, Xiangyi could be said to have racked her brains and used up all the adjectives she had in her life. Big Brother is an amazing genius. His IQ is outstanding, and he's also black-bellied cough, meticulous. After much difficulty, she finally drank the water that her second brother brought over. Suddenly, a deep and cold voice sounded in her ears. What about me? Xiangyi turned her neck stiffly and met her eldest brother's dark eyes. Big Brother, I really can't do it. Heh. He smiled with 3 parts coldness, 3 parts indifference, and 4 parts indifference. The little rabbit trembled. I think I can do it again. 800 words. Huh? Don't repeat it with them. Xiangyi wanted to cry, but had no tears. Chapter 1024. The girl had a sullen expression on her face, seemingly on the verge of tears. She looked adorable and was much more amusing than her usual calm demeanor. The netizens laughed out loud. I can't take it anymore. The Xiang family Adonis can change their name to childish primary school students. 800 words. The length is equivalent to a college entrance examination essay. Big Brother is awesome. It can't be repeated. Haha, this is too much of a test for our kids' vocabulary. Who can praise her like this? Xianxia struggled for more than 10 seconds before an idea struck her, and she began to praise him in English. The netizens were dumbfounded. In addition to words like handsome, self-disciplined, and efficient, the girl also mixed in a bunch of English poems. The netizens were dumbfounded. Haha, she's so witty. Phew. After finally getting enough words, Xianxia heaved a long sigh of relief and carefully asked, Big Brother, are you satisfied? If not, I'll think about it again. The corners of Xianxia's mouth twitched slightly before returning to a cold and indifferent smile. Barely. Xianxia felt as if a heavy burden had been lifted from her shoulders. Her aunt's teasing voice rang in her ears. Little Tutu, what about me? Xianxia was speechless. Xiangfeng also joined in the fun. Me too, me too. The little girl's expression could be described as hopeless. The netizens were also laughing uncontrollably. Annie should have at least 1,000 words, right? I'm dying of laughter. The way the Xiang family interact with each other is so funny. Xiao Beanbag. Doesn't her uncle deserve at least 100 words of praise? The person in front, 50 words at most, no more. Haha, Xiangfeng is at the bottom of the food chain. Auntie, Xianxia put her hands together and said coquettishly, Dear Auntie, please spare me. The sudden coquettish behavior stunned the countless netizens in front of their screens. Xianxia had always given people the impression that she was calm, composed, and had a seriousness that did not match her age. The netizens often neglected the fact that she was still young. Today's coquettish behavior instantly hit the hearts of countless people. This is love. Yes. Not to mention the audience. Even Xiang Wan couldn't take it. She clutched her heart. Little rabbit, you say that again? Aunt, please spare me. Ah. Xiang Wan was extremely excited. Again. Xianxia blinked her eyes, and a sweet little dimple appeared on her cheeks. Auntie, I beg you, please. The girl's voice was sweet to begin with, but after she softened her voice and acted coquettishly, she sounded like a squeaky milk ball. She really wanted to poke and pinch her cheeks. Xiang Wan took 2 steps back. She couldn't take it anymore. Little rabbit, what do you want? Aunt will buy it for you. Xianxia's eyes glinted cunningly. She thought she had finally escaped a calamity, but she didn't expect Xiangyu to suddenly grab her shoulder. The cool and arrogant esports god said in all seriousness, Little sister, act coquettishly. Xianxia, ? Xiangqi's eyes also lit up. Hurry up. Xianxia. Xiangli pushed his glasses and smiled like a warm breeze in March. Tutu, I want one too. Xianxia. She looked at Xianxian for help, begging him to control these indecent brothers. Xianxian adjusted his cufflinks. His temperament was cold and abstinent, like the snow falling from the distant mountains. Wait a minute, I'll record a video. The netizens puffed. As expected of the great demon king. It's bad enough that Big Brother didn't stop them, but he's actually helping them? Boo-hoo. Chapter 1025. Half an hour later, Xianxia was like a child who was being put on a show by her aunts during the spring festival. After she was done acting coquettishly, exhaustion was written all over her face. Little did she know that in the past half an hour, the Spicy Tutu fans had taken countless screenshots and recorded countless short videos. Countless people had experienced the process of going from being a fan of Xiang-yi to a fan of Xiang-yi and then to a fan of Xiang-yi's boyfriend. Oh, my beautiful sister. Who is this cute kid from? No, motherly love is going to change. I really want to transmigrate into Sure Sui and marry sister E. However, there were also haters in the live stream. Xiangyi is so pretentious. She's already a grown-up. Can't she speak properly? Yeah, I can't stand it either. I've never acted coquettishly with my family. It feels so awkward. To be honest, if she speaks like that in my house, my father will beat her up. Girls should be more dignified and magnanimous. Being coquettish is too petty. In this regard, the netizens' reaction was a question mark. Are you there? Do you know that the Qing dynasty is long gone? What's wrong with her? She's not acting coquettishly with you guys. She's acting coquettishly with her family, okay? Sorry, my mother said that she doesn't like girls who act coquettishly, but I just showed her the video of Sister E acting coquettishly. My mother has already followed Sister Yi's Weibo account, and she even asked me what it means to hit the charts. The two groups of people started arguing. The haters had fewer people, but they were good at attacking from tricky angles and were very aggressive. Both sides fell into a war of words for a while. There were even people who went to Xianxia and posted comments that were even more confusing. You like your girlfriend when she's like this? I thought you had high standards. Spicy Tutu, Sister Xianxia, and Untimely C's fans were all furious when they saw such comments. Before they had time to compare the comments, a new post about Xianxia suddenly appeared on Weibo. Xianxia V, she has all the looks I like. I like everything about her Xianxia. The haters were speechless. TSK, as an award-winning actor, do you live on Weibo? The speed of the response was too fast. However, the fans were overjoyed. A slap to the face from the government was the most fatal. Lu, Xianxia did it today. Your friend, wife-doting demon Sui Z is online. I seriously suspect that Xianxia surfs 5G every day. Pay close attention to Sister Yi's every move. Some netizens joked and commented. Sister E acted coquettishly in front of her four brothers. She was just short of acting coquettishly in the arms of her lover. When we go back, we have to let Sister E make up for it. A few seconds later, a system notification appeared. Xianxia liked this Weibo post. The netizen. He imagined Xiangyi's soft and tender body nestled in the arms of a refined, ascetic man and her delicate and coquettish appearance. How indescribable would that be? On this day, Untimely C's fans went crazy. All sorts of immortals and madams were pouring out food. Fanfiction, Q-maps, short videos. The couple's fans were cheering with tears in their eyes. At the same time, at the party, it was time for the group photo session. The most eye-catching ones were naturally the Xiang family. In order to compete for the spot next to their younger sister, the Xiang brothers went back and forth and engaged in a verbal battle. In the end, Xianxia won one spot with his absolute strength, while Xiang won the other spot by crushing Xianxia. Xianxia said in a pained tone, "It's too hard for the three of us." Xiang Li and Xianyu nodded in agreement. Xiang Feng was speechless. Isn't he human? Chapter 1026. Xiang Feng's expression was so vivid that the netizens started another round of merciless ridicule. Ha! Xiang Feng is so pitiful, the most transparent and domineering CEO in history. Xiang Feng's grandfather and Madame Xiang despised him. His sister pulled his ear, and his nephew forced him to climb up a tree. I suggest everyone post hashtag Xiang Feng is too hard hashtag on the public chat. Xiang had hired several photographers, and each of them was at the level of a top fashion magazine's photographer. They could even take a group photo with them. The Xiang family was so good-looking that they looked good in all the photos. Everyone had their photos taken individually, and they had also taken a group photo, and so on. Okay, next is the group photo. Miss Xiang, why don't you stand in the middle? The netizens also felt that given Xiang's status, she was the most suitable person to stand in the center. Out of everyone's expectations, Xiang flipped her curly hair. She had always been sharp-tongued, but today, her tone was exceptionally gentle. Xiang, you should be the one standing in the middle. That had always been a tradition of the Xiang family. The Xiang family would take a family photo every year. For the past 2 years, Xiangyi had been standing behind Xiang Feng's grandfather, Madame Xiang. When Xiangyi was a child, Xiang Feng's grandfather, Madame Xiang, would hold her in his arms for the photo. The photographer was secretly surprised, but he remained calm on the surface. Let's get started then. Let's take a traditional photo first, and then a more interesting one later, okay? The shutters clicked, and the netizens in front of the screen were also frantically taking screenshots. The screen was filled with good-looking men and women who were comparable to the top celebrities in the entertainment industry. The fans who were obsessed with good looks were about to faint. Every frame could be used as the cover of a magazine. In particular, Xiangyi, who was in the middle of the crowd, was young, but her facial features were gradually maturing, and she vaguely had the aura of a great beauty. This family is so good-looking. Xiang Feng's grandfather, Madame Xiang, was also super good-looking. Yes, Sister Yi's parents are probably very good-looking too, damn. Don't look at their photos. Someone on the livestream claims to be Xiang Yi's parents. Ah. The news was so shocking that countless netizens immediately downloaded the Ocean Live app. The account Father E and Mother E was ranked first on the number of viewers. Although they were new streamers, the two of them already had more than 1 million fans. The number of viewers in their live broadcast room had also reached a terrifying number of millions. The netizens clicked on it out of curiosity and were shocked. This middle-aged couple looked 70% similar to Xiang Yi. What was going on? Could they really be Sister Yi's parents? The two of them chatted casually with the netizens. When they saw more and more people in the live broadcast room, they suddenly cleared their throats. Today, we're doing this live stream mainly to expose one thing. The man who called himself Father E sat up straight and said, "Actually, Xiang Yi isn't my biological daughter. She was adopted." Mother E sobbed and said, "I was blinded by greed. Because our family was too poor, I sent my poor daughter to be raised by a rich family." The live stream was in an uproar. Wasn't this too unimaginable? Some people also raised their doubts. Are you really Xiang Yi's biological parents? Do you have any evidence? The two of them came prepared, as if they had already expected this question. They took out a brown paper bag and said, "The evidence is in here, but we decided not to make it public." Chapter 10:27. Yes, we thought about it. In order not to affect Xiang Yi's life in the future, we decided to bury this secret. Father E said in a pained tone. He lit up the paper bag with a lighter and burned it. The so-called evidence was reduced to ashes. The fans were dumbfounded. What kind of trick is this? Since you don't want to affect Xiang Yi, why did you start a live stream? I'm so confused. Why did you burn just like that? How do we know if there's a piece of white paper inside? Are you guys insulting my IQ? It's obvious that you're trying to ride on my coattails. However, there were too many netizens, and it was impossible for them to come to a consensus. There were conspiracy theorists and netizens who claimed to be little detectives who started making up stories to justify themselves. First of all, these two people look a lot like Xiang Yi. Are there so many people in the world who look alike? There's no way to clear that up, right? Secondly, don't you think that Xiang Yi's brother is too nice to Xiang Yi? Maybe he doesn't treat her as his sister at all, but as a child bride. Thirdly, the fact that they burned the evidence shows that the two of them are very close to Xiang Yi. Otherwise, if they just made it public, Xiang Yi wouldn't be able to continue being a rich and beautiful woman. Lastly, I want to say that Xiang Yi is probably from a wealthy family just by looking at her face. There's no way she's destined to be rich and powerful, everyone. Welcome to plus XXXX fortune telling for only 200 yuan. Some radical netizens even felt that they had been deceived by Xiang Yi and went to Xiang Yi's Weibo and livestream to denounce her. There were also people who frantically tagged the director in charge of today's livestream and asked him to interview Xiang Yi. After watching the middle-aged couple's livestream, the director was speechless. How can anyone believe such clumsy acting skills? Asking Sister E to clarify things would be an insult to Sister E. He told the staff, "There's no need for that. The innocent will know." A few nosy socialites quickly surrounded Xiang Yi when she went to the buffet area. "Sister E, sorry to disturb you, but we have a question for you," Xiang Yi said good-naturedly. What happened? Well, did you watch the live broadcast? The two of them said that they were your biological parents. Xiang Yi looked at the screen and saw a pair of unfamiliar faces in the live stream. She said indifferently, "No." Various netizens began to overinterpret her expression. She's using nonchalance to cover up the turbulence in her heart. The more a liar is exposed, the angrier they will be. The more a guilty person is questioned, the calmer they will be. This was all based on psychology. 2 words, faking it. In another livestream room, after Father and Mother E received the notification, they suddenly started acting as if they had been possessed by a drama queen. Mother E covered her face and wept. "It's my fault for being useless." That's why my daughter has to lead a wandering life. Father, he thumped his chest and stamped his feet. Daughter, come back. I can't give you riches and glory, but I can still provide you with 3 meals a day. Are you coveting the Xiang family's gold, silver, and jewels and looking down on your own parents? You don't want to provide for the 2 of us when we're old? Daughter, you're being unfilial. The 2 of them cried and acted well. Some netizens who had poor judgment believed them, especially the middle-aged and elderly netizens who were sensitive to the topic of unfilial piety. They were so affected that their eyes turned red. In the buffet area, Xiang Feng, who was stuffing macarons into his mouth, turned around and cursed. What the hell? How dare you slander our little bunny? You're trying to kill her. Xiangyi, who didn't take it seriously at all, was distracted by the menu for dinner. Shrimp? It tastes better with steamed eggs. The socialites were dumbfounded. Chapter 1028. Xiang Feng was stunned for a moment and was led astray by Xiangyi's train of thought. Actually, pig's heart tastes good too. Pig's heart soup is always divine. The socialites. Come on, why are you 2 talking about food? In a live stream, I spat a mouthful of water onto the screen. I realized that Uncle Xiang really has a gift for being a comedian. He's so funny. Little muddle-headed Xiang, is so cute. Come on, Mommy will cook shrimp and steamed eggs for you. One of the socialites deliberated over her words and said carefully, Sister E, are these 2 trying to gain popularity? Someone else said, the innocent knows they're innocent. Why bother arguing with such people? People these days are really shameless for the sake of traffic and popularity. Xiangyi nodded slightly. Thank you for the reminder. I'll deal with it as soon as possible. At this moment, the 2 people who were live streaming were crying even harder. Mother, he said, Oh God, how did I give birth to such a heartless daughter? You've enjoyed all the glory, wealth, success, and fame, but you don't even acknowledge your biological parents. Father, he patted her on the shoulder. It's okay, we'll just pretend that we never had this daughter. The rational netizens felt that there were many loopholes and suggested that the 2 of them produce evidence. Their eyes flickered, revealing a trace of guilt. They weren't Xiangyi's biological parents. They were just 2 extras hired by the marketing department of Dahai Livestream. The reason why they spared no effort in acting was that Dahai Livestream had promised them a house and 100,000 yuan in cash, as long as they put on such a show. In just a short while, the number of downloads of the Dahai Livestream app soared and successfully took away the traffic of Xianxia Livestream. Seeing the 2 of them stammering and not saying anything for a long time, more and more netizens became suspicious. I keep feeling that there's something fishy. There's no evidence, and they even burned the so-called evidence. Whoever believes them is an idiot. Even if they're her biological parents, the disgusting ones aren't Sister E, but this couple. They abandoned their daughter first, and now that she's popular, they're reuniting with her? I think they just want money. At the venue of the party, Xiangyi walked up to her brother and said a few words. The camera was a little far away this time, so they couldn't hear their conversation clearly. However, the crowd had witnessed the great demon king unleashing his aura through the screen. The overwhelming aura seemed to crush everything in the world. Countless people held their breaths, not daring to make a sound. Xianxia took out his phone and dialed a number. Under the strong cheers of the audience, the director boldly moved the camera closer to the Xiang siblings. The sound recording device captured the conversation between the 2. Xiangyi, brother, if I'm really not Mom and Dad's biological daughter, Xianxia interrupted her. Don't make such an impossible assumption. I'm just saying. The cold and steady man was silent for a few seconds. Suddenly, he raised his hand and patted his sister's little head. Blood ties are not the only thing that binds people together. Even if we are not related by blood, nothing will change. You will always be my only biological sister. You will always be our little rabbit. No one expected the great demon Xianxia to say such words. Even Xiangyi was stunned for a few seconds. After a while, the girl sniffled and looked up at him. Brother will always be my brother. Chapter 1029. This heartwarming scene was very touching. However, the sound of sobbing and sniffling from the side ruined the atmosphere. Tutu, come give me a hug. I'll always be your uncle too. And Xianxia, you'll always be my nephew too. Xianxia moved perfectly and avoided Xiangfeng's hug. Xiangfeng blankly typed a question mark. Am I being despised? Xiangyi took the initiative to hug her uncle and said in a soft voice, Uncle, don't cry. You look so ugly when you cry. Sister Song will. Xiangyi paused and hesitated to speak. Xiangfeng was so touched that he cried. Tutu is still the best. You must be worried that Song will feel sorry for me. She's really my sweetheart. No, I'm just afraid that Sister Song will laugh too loudly when she sees you crying. Xiangfeng was speechless, thinking of how he was trapped in a tree when he was a child, and Song Qiuqiu laughed hysterically with his hands on his waist. Xiangfeng felt terrible. Xiangfeng, Storm cried. After comparing the two live streams, most netizens came to their senses. At first glance, it was just a farce. However, there were also a small number of stubborn netizens who believed the words of Father E and Mother E. As public figures, shouldn't filial piety be the top priority? Giving birth to a child is better than giving birth to a child. Parents giving their child life is the greatest kindness. The child must repay the kindness. I don't believe there are parents in this world who don't love their children. On the contrary, children don't know how to repay their parents. Be filial to your parents. Especially Xiangyi, she's a negative example. On the internet, information often spread quickly. Many people had forgotten that what they could see was often what others wanted them to see. He didn't even know that he was being used as a tool. On the live stream, Father E and Mother E acted for a while, repeating the same lines over and over again. The netizens began to get tired of the aesthetic. Are there any more new melons? No more. The marketing department of Ocean Livestream was already prepared. They made a gesture, and the middle-aged woman who played Mother E understood. She wiped away her tears and said in a tone of despair, Actually, I have chronic kidney failure, also known as uremia. I need a kidney transplant. The doctor said that the compatibility between family members is the highest, but I've looked around and found no suitable one. Now, my only hope is my daughter. This melodramatic plot immediately attracted the attention of many people. Her biological mother needed a kidney transplant. As her biological daughter, shouldn't she donate a kidney? This instantly became the topic of debate among the netizens in the live stream. Mother E was secretly overjoyed. According to the script, the live stream was about to end at this point. Soon, she and her husband would be able to receive the reward for the live broadcast in the ocean. The next second, in the live broadcast room, a few lines of yellow text suddenly appeared. That was the special effect when gifting gifts, but it was used as a notification. Our company has accepted Madame Xiangyi's request and will file a lawsuit against the relevant personnel who slandered Madame Xiangyi. According to our country's laws, those who slander others and the circumstances are serious will be sentenced to imprisonment of not more than 3 years, criminal detention, public surveillance, or deprivation of political rights. Above, when Father E and Mother E saw this message, they were dumbfounded. Why are you suing us? Father E couldn't sit still anymore. He stood up abruptly and said, The contract didn't say anything about this. The staff wanted to stop them, but it was too late. Mother E immediately threw a tantrum. Then we're not acting anymore. Is there anyone like you? There's no justice in this. Chapter 10:30. Whoosh! The staff of Ocean Livestream hurriedly cut off the livestream. The livestream went dark, but the netizens' comments exploded. Acting? Contract? Who did they sign the contract with? Is it Ocean Livestream? Hey, I originally thought this drama was boring, but now I'm not sleepy anymore. A senior executive of Ocean Livestream called and yelled, Who turned off the livestream? I'm asking who turned off the livestream. What's the difference between this and a guilty conscience? The staff member said weakly. Then we're thieves. The senior executive was speechless. Hurry up and get out of here. Ocean Livestream's original plan was to hire the 2 extras to act, and after attracting popularity and downloads, they would get rid of them, claiming that everything was directed by the 2 of them and had nothing to do with Ocean Livestream. As for the house and money that they had promised, Of course, they couldn't fulfill that promise. However, they never expected that the lawyer would come directly to the live stream to inform them of the news. What was even more unexpected was that the two actors had betrayed them and betrayed them. Ocean Livestream fell into chaos, and the major departments hurriedly held meetings to discuss how to deal with public relations. Unfortunately, their public relations were far slower than the speed of the netizens' gossiping. At this moment, public opinion actually backfired. I'm laughing my head off. This should be the funniest scene in the industry. Ocean Livestream, don't show your face. It's already been uninstalled. There are thousands of livestream apps. If one doesn't work, let's switch to a smile. I'm so angry. The elders at home believed it and even wiped their tears, but it turned out to be a scam. I'll never use any of Ocean Livestream's products again. The netizens' anger towards the two scammers and Ocean Livestream all turned into pity and love for Xianxia. Everyone flocked to the live stream of the party. Some sent gifts, some left messages to comfort her, and most silently supported her with their actions. Those who didn't have the Xianxia live stream app went to download one. Hence, something happened that made Ocean Livestream vomit blood. The number of downloads they had attracted was less than the number of downloads after the incident. On the other hand, the number of downloads of Xianxia Livestream skyrocketed, leaving Ocean Livestream in the dust. The technical department of Xianxia Livestream even posted an emoji on Weibo, salted fish winning. Their hatred had been raised to the max. It also attracted a lot of praise from the netizens. Coincidentally, it was time for a group photo at the party. Xianxia had never participated in any photo shoots, and Xianxia was nowhere to be found. The socialites were fighting for the center position, and they were all fighting each other. This kind of large-scale palace scheming scene, the audience watched with relish. However, the fans were worried. Where did Sister E go? Xiang family cemetery. The breeze blew the daisies on the ground, and the tea in the celadon cup rippled. Xianxia had changed into casual clothes, a white sweater and black jeans, simple and clean. She poured her parents' favorite tea on the empty space in front of the grave. The surroundings were very quiet. Other than the occasional chirping of birds, there was no other sound. The girl's slender, white, and soft fingers brushed past the black and white photo on the tombstone. Dad, Mom, are you guys doing well in the sky? Xianxia clearly knew that there was no such thing as a soul in the world she lived in. However, he stubbornly believed that people would become stars after they died. I miss you guys a little. The girl's soft voice dissipated in the wind. Don't worry, it's only a little. Chapter 1031. The wind gently caressed the leaves, making a rustling sound as if it was responding gently. Xianxia rubbed her sore eyes. The corners of her eyes were red, but she didn't shed a single tear. She remembered that every time she cried when she was young, her parents would be sad. Suddenly, a warm hand appeared on the top of her head, gently and slowly rubbing her hair. Xianxia looked up and met her second brother, Xiang Li's gaze. Brother, yes, I'm here. Xiang Li bent his knees and squatted down, keeping his distance from Xianxia. His amber eyes were reflected behind his thin glasses. Do you want to cry? Those eyes were usually filled with data and formulas, but now there was only a gentle glow. When her brother came, Xianxia felt her nose sting even more, but she still shook her head. Although I really want to, I can stop crying. Xiang Li was speechless for a moment. After a moment, he sighed helplessly. Our Tutu is a sensible child, but Mom and Dad will probably support Tutu's occasional willfulness. For example, you could be like Auntie, rolling your eyes when you meet someone you don't like. You can also be like little uncle, crying when you want to and laughing when you want to. Xianxia, oh. The little girl blinked, her eyes filled with tears. Xiang Li thought for a moment and simply sat down beside her. He pointed at himself. Who am I? Xianxia, you're my brother. Then who are you? I'm your sister, not entirely. Xiang Li corrected her. You're my sister, Mom and Dad's daughter, but you're also Xianxia. Mom, Dad, and I all hope that you can live happily and live for your own happiness, okay? He also poured a cup of hot tea in the open space and whispered, If you want to cry, you can always lean on my shoulder. Xianxia nodded. Her eyelashes trembled and stained with water. Not far away, a familiar voice suddenly sounded. Sister, where? Where? Why don't I see you? Ah, are you a blind monk? What kind of look is that? The bickering sounds came from Xianxia and Xianxia. Looking in the direction of the sound, the two of them were like small tails following behind a tall figure. Xianxia. The three of them walked over in the blink of an eye. I knew you guys would be here. Why didn't you bring me along to see your parents? Xianxia muttered and squeezed his butt next to Xianxia. Xianxia was displeased. Third brother, look at how you're squeezing your sister. What do you know? Squeeze for warmth. Then I want to squeeze in too. The four of them huddled together. Then they raised their heads and looked at Xianxia in unison. The great demon king was expressionless. He glanced at his brothers and sisters and complained in a low voice, childish. In the next second, he also sat down in the only space available. The gloominess and coldness were dispelled and replaced by warmth. It really does seem quite warm, Xianxia said in a low voice. It's just a little crowded. Luckily, little uncle and Annie aren't here. Suddenly, Xianfeng sneakily poked his head out from behind a tree with a smug look on his face. You didn't expect us to be here too, did you? Xiangwan, on the other hand, looked proud and arrogant. She crossed her arms and said, We didn't follow the little bunny here. Xiangfeng wanted to squeeze in, but Xiangwan grabbed him by the collar. Please act like an elder. If I don't beat you up for an hour, you won't know that I'm skilled in both the pen and the sword, right? A second ago, she was scolding Xiangfeng. In the next second, Xiangwan's tone changed into a spring breeze. Little Tutu, cry if you want. There are so many of us here. We'll all help you catch your tears. Chapter 1032. The corners of the Xiang brothers' mouths twitched. As soon as Auntie opened her mouth, it was as if she was an old couple. Xiangfeng, on the other hand, was confused. Why did she always pull his ear whenever she didn't like it? Little Xiangyi couldn't even bear to scold him, let alone pull his ear. Xiangyi laughed at Auntie's coaxing, and small dimples appeared on her cheeks. I won't cry anymore. She had been holding it in before, but now she was sincere, because she had the best family in the world. Seeing the little girl smile through her tears, Xiangwan breathed a sigh of relief. She was almost about to perform the traditional act of violently beating up Xiangfeng to coax the little rabbit. Since you're here, you guys talk to Mom and Dad. I'll take Feng to the orchard in front to see if the dates are ripe. Xiangfeng instinctively trembled. Sis, why don't you go alone? I also have a lot to say to Big Brother and Big Sister. Xiangwan shot him a glare, and Xiangfeng immediately changed his words. 1,000 words, but they don't need to be said. Accompanying Big Sister is the most important thing. The silhouettes of the siblings gradually disappeared into the distance. The Xiang siblings were silent for a while. Xiangyu took off his cap, revealing his handsome face. I'll go first. He took a deep breath, then slowly exhaled. He repeated it several times, then said in a low voice, Mom and Dad, when I was young, you always encouraged me when I played games. Now that I've made some achievements in esports, I'll work harder in the future. I'll also take good care of little sister. I swear in the name of Big Brother. With that, he turned his face away. His eyes were red under his thick eyelashes. Xiangqi rubbed his head, messing up Xiangyu's slightly long hair. The latter gave him a look of disdain. Xiangqi stared at the photo on the tombstone. Next, it's my turn. When I used to play with the sewing machine and make clothes for little sister's doll, everyone said I was strange, sissy, and not like a man. Only you guys praised me as a genius. Actually, I was secretly happy for a long time. It was you guys who gave me the courage to do what I love. Leave little sister to me. Xiangqi patted his chest. I'll make her little dresses for the rest of her life. Xiangli chimed in from his side. Dad, Mom, I'm sorry for making you worry about my health when I was young. You were troubled by my inability to make friends. You were troubled by my studies. Now that I have some achievements in the medical field, I don't have to worry about food and clothing. You don't have to worry about me. I am a firm atheist, but I still believe that you have turned into stars and are still protecting us. Hearing this, Xiangyi felt a lump in her throat. She continued to pull weeds to cover up her loss of control. Xianxia's speech was concise and powerful. I will protect my brothers and sisters for the rest of my life. Xianxia couldn't hold it in any longer. Her tears fell onto the stone floor. Mom, Dad, I've encountered a lot of bad things in the past year, but I also met a very, very good person. I participated in a variety show, made new friends, and was lucky enough to have fans. Moreover, I also met someone I've liked for a long time. I'm glad that he likes me too. His name is Sure Sway. In the future, I will work hard to live a good life. I will also work hard to make Big Brother, Grandpa, Grandma, Little Uncle, and Annie happy. Mom, Dad, you guys have to be happy in heaven too. I love you guys. The sun was warm, and the wind was gentle. The leaves and grass swayed with the wind, as if responding silently. Everything was very beautiful. Next introduction, the wedding. Chapter 1033. Sweetheart, let's go through the schedule. We'll do a magazine cover shoot with Sure Indy at 10 in the morning. After that, we'll do an interview for about half an hour. After that, we'll record a short video for the New Year event. In the van, Nan chattered on and on, clutching the schedule tightly. His palms were sweaty. The beautiful Xianxia said helplessly, Nan, why are you more nervous than me? Nan pulled a long face. Boo-hoo, sweetheart, you were too careless in the past. This is the first time you've taken on so many jobs. Besides, Mr. C isn't here today. I'm a little scared to work alone. As a small manager with no work experience, managing a popular artist like Xianxia was too stressful. Xianxia asked curiously, where did Mr. C go? Haven't the two of you always been inseparable? Nan replied, I think Auntie is sick. He went back home to visit her. Before he finished speaking, his phone buzzed. It was a message from Si Chuanbai. Have you eaten? I'm already at home. Nan quickly typed, is Annie okay? Do you want to bring her to Nansheng? The medical resources here are better. I can help you contact a doctor. Si Chuanbai, it's a lie. Madam Hong is fine. She just tricked me into coming back for a blind date. Nan, then don't let Annie down. Go shopping with Annie and have afternoon tea with her friends. Give her some face. If you find someone suitable, hurry up and meet her. You can't be single forever. There was no reply for a long time. It wasn't until Nan accompanied Xianxia into the dressing room that he received two strange messages from Mr. C. I didn't want to ask at first, although we've known each other for so long. But it's fine. Do you want me to go? Nan was baffled. Mr. C had always been a very opinionated person. He was highly efficient and made decisions swiftly and decisively. He was completely different from a procrastinator like him. Why would he come to ask for his opinion? Could it be that a ruthless work machine would be at a loss when faced with relationship problems? Nan pressed the voice button and said, Mr. C, I think you should muster up your courage and challenge yourself. I believe that with your qualifications, as long as your blind date isn't too weird, they will definitely be very satisfied with you. Mr. C, let's go. Oliver, give me. This time, Si Chuanbai replied with an ellipsis. Nan stared up and down, left and right for a long time, but he still couldn't figure out the meaning of the punctuation. He was a flunky who had poor reading comprehension since he was young. He was so worried that he scratched his head. There was only one question in his mind. Why was Mr. C like this? Good girl. Can you help me take a look at what Mr. C is trying to do? Sure. Xianxia finished reading their conversation and felt sympathy for Si Chuanbai. What's wrong? Was there some kind of mystery behind it? Or was there a hidden meaning? Xianxia reminded him tactfully. Well, just take it literally. Nan stared at him again. All of a sudden, the fog in front of him seemed to have cleared up, revealing the moon. Nan was suddenly enlightened and slapped his thigh. I got it. Xianxia's eyes lit up. She was ready to be a couple on the spot. However, she heard Nan say confidently like Sherlock Holmes solving a case. That's a hidden sentence. The first part of Mr. C's sentence is you're an idiot. That's too much. Chapter 1034. Xianxia's cherry lips moved as if she wanted to say something, but stopped. Have you ever thought that Mr. C actually has feelings for you? At this moment, someone knocked on the door. Teacher Xiang, I'm today's makeup artist. Is it convenient for you to come in now? It was inappropriate to talk about this topic in front of outsiders. Let's talk about it later. Please come in. The makeup artist pushed the door open and entered with a few assistants behind her. Teacher Xiang, feel free to communicate with me if you need anything. Everything we do is for today's shoot. As the makeup artist applied makeup on Xianxia, Nan typed a few words angrily. Whatever. Oomph. He admitted that he wasn't very smart and had let his family down by not being an outstanding doctor and inheriting his family's hospital. After falling out with his parents, he could only be a poor worker, but Mr. C was the person he respected and admired the most. How could he say that he was a fool? Sob, sob, sob. Si Chuanbai, who was thousands of miles away, said with an indifferent expression, "If there's nothing else, I won't disturb you." His mother, Madame Hong, felt her scalp go numb. You child, how's going back to your own home a bother? Aren't you treating me like an outsider? I've said it before, I have someone I like. I've also said that no, Madame Hong's voice was shrill. That little hooligan with colorful hair? I won't allow it. I won't allow it. How can you like someone like that? How is he worthy of you? Si Chuanbai interrupted her. He has a name, Munan. I fully understand how you feel, but I hope you can give him the respect he deserves. This was the first time her son, who had always been taciturn and respectful to her, had contradicted her for someone else. Madame Hong froze on the spot. After a long time, she asked in a trembling voice, "Do you like him that much?" "Why?" Si Chuanbai said, "There's no reason for some things. Don't be angry. Your blood pressure is going to rise soon. I'll go to the kitchen to boil some water for you." There was a water dispenser at home. How could Madame Hong not understand that he was looking for an excuse to avoid her? The bitterness in her heart gradually increased. Was she wrong? But she was doing it for her son's sake. In the kitchen, Si Chuanbai turned on the kettle and picked up his phone to send a few messages to Annan. When he saw Annan persuading him to go on a blind date, Si Chuanbai's heart felt like it was being cut by a knife. But when he saw the sentence, "Do whatever you want," Si Chuanbai's heart felt like 10,000 fireworks had exploded. This coquettish tone, this hint of jealousy. Si Chuanbai's mind instantly went from "does little colored feather like me" to "little Kai Mao likes me." Si Chuanbai edited the message and deleted it for a long time. He didn't know what to reply. Wouldn't being together be too bold this time? Would it be too subtle to reply with "I'll listen to you"? After struggling for a long time, Si Chuanbai decided to consult the person with the most experience in love. He dialed Shi Sui's number. In the dressing room, the makeup artist put on Shi Sui was very light. She only touched up the shape of her eyebrows, applied lip balm, and deepened the contours and lines of her face with powder. The man's expression was lazy and his tone was casual. "You mean Annan confessed to you? Are you sure?" Si Chuanbai said with certainty. "I'm 100% sure. Do you think I should propose to him with a diamond ring or add his name to my property deed first?" Shi Sui said, "I suggest you get a neurologist first." There's no charge for the following words in addition to the wedding. The ending of the important characters will also be explained. There might also be a post-marriage chapter and a cute baby chapter. It shouldn't be too long. I'll go and sort out the follow-up first. That's all for today. Good night from the Fat on One. Chapter 1035. After hanging up the phone, Shi Sui shook his head helplessly at his manager. His ability to imagine. It was such a pity that he didn't become a screenwriter. Buzz, his phone rang. The man lowered his eyes and saw the words "Little Bunny" on the screen. His peach blossom eyes beamed, making the legs of the makeup artist and several assistants go soft. He pressed the answer button, and Xiangyi's warm and soft voice came from the Bluetooth headset. "Is your makeup done?" "Soon." Shi Sui chuckled. "Is Annan with you?" "He went outside." "Is Mr. C okay? Are you sad?" Shi Sui pondered for a moment and said, "He probably even thought about how many tables to arrange for the wedding. I think he should be very happy." Xiangyi was speechless. "What? He's getting married?" Xiangyi said in disbelief. "What's the difference between him and a scumbag?" Now, Shi Sui was the one with a question mark above his head. He comforted her in a low voice. "Don't worry, I'll look for you later." Shi Sui was done with his makeup and hair. He had changed into a light beige sweater with blue jeans and a pair of classic white shoes. It was a clean and refreshing outfit. When he appeared in Xianxi's dressing room, the staff members kept looking at him. It was a pure biological instinct that made one want to take a few more glances at a beauty. However, Sui's gaze was fixed on Xianxi. The girl in front of the mirror was wearing a princess dress with puffy sleeves. Her hair was tied into a bun, and there were a few strands of messy curly hair beside her ears. Her pure pomelo red was full of vitality, and she looked very girly. Anan called out to everyone. Shui and sister, you have prepared tea and snacks for everyone. Let's take a break first. The staff members left tactfully. Shui walked to Xianxi. The tip of the girl's nose and chin were blushed, adding a touch of pitiful fragility. He suddenly wanted to bully his little bunny. He wanted to bully her until she cried. Very beautiful, Shui said in a low voice, suppressing an inexplicable impatience. Xianxi, you're pretty too. Shui chuckled. Tutu, why do I feel that you're being perfunctory? All right, let's get down to business first. Xianxi hurriedly checked the information with him and realized that both Si Chuanbai and Anan had made a mistake. Why don't I talk to Anan? Xianxi suggested. Hint, if I were to hint at it, the effect might not be that good. It's better to let the two of them talk about it face to face. That's true. Then we should let nature take its course? After all, Mr. C is so powerful. Yes. Both of them had confidence in Si Chuanbai. As a top manager, it shouldn't be a problem for him to confess, right? The filming officially began. The style of the first set is romantic and sweet. We need Teacher Shi and Teacher Xiang to act out the feelings of a passionate couple. Oh no, we'll just follow the way the two of you usually get along with each other. Just do it as you're comfortable. After the photographer stated his requirements, he was initially worried that the two of them wouldn't be able to achieve the feeling he wanted. Unexpectedly, in the next half an hour, he vividly experienced what it meant to show off their affection. Head touching, lifting, strawberry kissing, pressing down on the sofa, and looking at each other. The photographer almost had tears in his eyes as he finished taking the set of photos. Shui and Xianxi went to change into their clothes for the next day. The new assistant asked foolishly, "How does it feel to be an untimely couple?" I'm full. Chapter 1036. On the same day, the magazine's official Weibo account released a set of behind-the-scenes photos from a shoot. Although it wasn't as shocking as the photos, the excited fans still pushed the post to the top of the trending list. The first 3 photos were of the romantic and sweet style of the first set, which had tormented countless single people. The middle 3 photos were of the dark and cool style, in which Shui and Xianxi were like walking clothes hangers, exuding an extraordinary sense of fashion in their branded clothes. The most surprising, and the one that made the fans go crazy, was the last set of photos. Xianxi usually gave people the impression of a gentle and cute national girl, and the clothes she wore were mainly light-colored. However, in this set of photos, the girl was wearing a long black dress, which was a rare sight. Her eyeliner was slightly elongated, and her lips were a bright red color. On the retro and gorgeous sofa, Xianxi was crossing her long legs. The red soles of her black suede high heels were exposed, which was seductive and soul-stirring. Shui was also different from his usual calm and abstinent self. His white satin shirt was exquisite, but the collar was torn open, revealing the black choker necklace on his collarbone, which made his skin look even fairer and his Adam's apple look even smoother and clearer. He was sitting on a wool carpet, looking clean and delicate. His hair was styled into disposable curls, and he looked like a little prince who had been sent to a foreign country as a hostage. This set of photos of Queen X Little Prince instantly went viral on various social media platforms. I want to see this. I'll definitely buy this issue of the magazine. Xianxi's lips are simply the color of a queen's coronation. Her aura is so strong. I've already been subdued by this beautiful girl's dress. Shui is such a contrast. No wonder he's a monster who won the Best Actor award. He doesn't feel out of place at all when he acts as a little puppy. I feel like locking him in a small dark room. I'm so perverted, you're not alone in the small dark room. I've already prepared a dog head for him in my basement. I'm the director of Nanching Mental Hospital. Hello to you guys. Haha, I'm gonna die of laughter in the comments section sooner or later. Sure Sui and Xianxia were both trending topics. Just the cover of the photos had already made it to several trending topics. However, the two of them didn't make it to the top of the trending topics this time, as the top spot was occupied by little Uncle Xiangfeng. Hashtag Xiangfeng official announcement. Hashtag the netizens saw a few words. After clicking it, they saw a Weibo post that Xiangfeng's is. Xiangfeng, I'm... The accompanying picture was a bright red marriage certificate cover. It was very festive. Thanks to Xiaopo's strong influence, Xiangfeng's current popularity was no less than a second-tier celebrity. Plus, he's of stars of subs. The whole internet was gossiping. Who is Little Ant? After the interview and video of the interview of the little of the photos is of the little GPS location. Xiang S of our little uncle and sister Song, so efficient. Sure Sui, who was beside her, glanced at it and raised her eyebrows. Should we call her little Ant then? In the villa under Xiangfeng's name. In the living room, Song Xiaoqiu was holding a cup of hot tea as he looked at Xiangfeng, who was humming a song in the kitchen while cooking. We the people are so happy tonight, huh? We the people are so happy tonight, huh? Although they did register their marriage, weren't they in a fake marriage? Why did it feel like Xiangfeng was happier than if they were really married? Was he a fan of the atmosphere? Chapter 1037. When Song Xiaoqiu finished her sixth cup of tea, Xiangfeng finally came out of the kitchen with a few plates of dishes, or perhaps they could be called dishes. Song, this is the food I made for you. Although it's a little ugly, I tasted it just now. You won't die from eating it. Xiangfeng looked at Song Xiaoqiu eagerly. Song Xiaoqiu, what kind of dark cuisine was this? She reluctantly picked up a piece with her chopsticks, but the taste that hit the depths of her soul instantly froze her in place. Xiangfeng was elated. Look, I told you won't die. The next second, Song Xiaoqiu ran to the bathroom and vomited. Song. After a long time, Song Xiaoqiu finally recovered and lay weakly on the sofa. Xiangfeng anxiously guarded her. I'm sorry, I saw that little Xiangyi's cooking was quite simple, so I wanted to make you a meal myself. It's okay. Song Xiaoqiu was so weak that she almost died from that mouthful of food. Let's discuss something. Don't come into the kitchen in the future, okay? That won't do. Song Xiaoqiu, I believe that as long as I practice diligently, one day I'll be able to make delicious food. Song Xiaoqiu was about to cry. Then you should eat more. In Xiangfeng's eyes, Song Xiaoqiu was looking at him with affectionate eyes, teary eyes, and secretly flirting with him. He felt like a deer in his heart had a concussion as he said affectionately, I understand your intentions, I understand all of them. Song Xiaoqiu, what the hell do you know? She took a deep breath and tried to sit up so that the conversation between the two of them could be more formal. Xiangfeng, we're in a fake marriage, I know. I've signed the premarital property notarization, the fake marriage contract, the 100 clauses of the cohabitation contract, and the divorce contract after 2 years. I've signed all of them. Quick, think if there's anything I missed. Song Xiaoqiu hesitated for a moment and asked, why aren't you angry about signing these? The two of them were childhood sweethearts. Outsiders had only seen her beautiful, sweet, and decent appearance. Only Xiangfeng had seen her when her teeth were falling out, when she hadn't washed her hair for 3 days, and when she had been constipated for so long that she had blocked the toilet bowl. She suggested a fake marriage because she had no other choice. She hadn't expected Xiangfeng to agree so readily. She was paranoid, so she made Xiangfeng sign a lot of documents. If it were another man, he would probably be angry, right? But Xiangfeng always granted her every request, without a word of complaint. Xiangfeng scratched his head. What's there to be angry about? You don't feel safe, so as a man, I should give it to you. To protect my own interests, I think this is what I should do. What's more, you're nothing. I'm already used to being bullied by my elder sister and my eldest, second, third, and youngest nephews. Song Xiaoqiu was so touched that she held back her tears. Then, then you don't have to deliberately put on an act and act so happily. You even posted something on Weibo. When we get divorced in the future, you'll have to delete it. I didn't put on an act. I posted it on Weibo because I wanted to. Xiang Feng chuckled. When I think about how I'll be able to see you every day for 2 years, I'm especially happy. I'm with the person I like. Even if it's a fake marriage, I'm really happy. Song Xiaoqiu was dumbfounded. You like me? Xiang Feng was also dumbfounded. You don't know. At the same time, a large number of anti-fans appeared under Shi Sui's Weibo. Chapter 1038. Shi Sui, Uncle Xiang is already married. What about you? Shi Sui, Brother Tiniu's neighbor's mother-in-law's nephew's cousin, is already married. What about you? Shi Sui, are you impotent? Shi Sui, you're impotent. After clicking on the accounts of those anti-fans, they would discover an interesting phenomenon. They were all fans of Shi Sui's sister, who was also Shi Sui's fan. Countless netizens came to watch the show, and they were simply laughing their heads off in the comment section. Shi Sui's sister was definitely the most anti-fan in the industry. One fan is better than 10 anti-fans. Indeed, it's true. At the same time, the fans of the couple were also worried sick. Is untimely couple getting married today? No. As long as they don't get married, they're still one step away from attaining a positive outcome. Hence, in the comments section, it was like a large-scale wedding urging. I'm from the Civil Affairs Bureau. I came here myself. I'm willing to be a vegetarian for the rest of my life. I just hope that untimely couple will get married on the spot. He's asking for a marriage proposal with his own blood. It'd be best if the wedding is broadcasted live. However, regardless of whether it was urging them to get married, criticizing them, or making fun of them, they all ended up in the same place. They vividly demonstrated that humans were essentially repeaters. Shi Sui is impotent. After the popularity of hashtag Xiang Yi's official announcement hashtag, those familiar words made it to the top of the hot search list again. When Si Chuanbai, who was in his hometown, saw the hot search list, the corners of his mouth twitched. Not only did he not bother to do public relations, he even sent Shi Sui a voice message. You've seen the hot search list, haven't you? Why don't you save the money you earn from removing the hot search list and buy some nourishing ingredients and herbs for you? In response, Shi Sui replied with a smiley emoji. Even Xiangyi, who was in the bathroom, received a call from Xiang Yi's grandfather. Little Tutu, don't air your dirty laundry in public. Shi Sui isn't feeling well, and you can't treat him. Tell Grandpa. Xiang Yi felt as if she had fallen into the clouds. How is he feeling unwell? He's clearly very healthy. I get it. He's hiding it from you, right? The Prime Minister's tone was pained. Don't worry, Grandpa isn't such an unenlightened person. I'll find a nationally renowned andrologist for a consultation. I'll definitely cure Sui's illness. Xiangyi. She seemed to have thought of something and hurriedly took a look at the hot search list. She explained for a long time, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. Only then did Xiang Yi reluctantly believe that Shi Sui's impotence was just a joke made by netizens. After hanging up the phone, Xiangyi was about to change her clothes when a pair of large hands wrapped around her slender waist. The man rubbed his chin against her shoulder. What happened? Xiangyi's ears turned red. I want to take a shower, I know. These words made Xiangyi's face burn. She changed the topic. Well, Grandpa called me. The young girl roughly summarized the matter of Xiang Yin's misunderstanding and asked, Isn't it funny? After all, Grandpa doesn't surf the internet often. Shi Sui fiddled with her soft hair, and his handsome face was glazed by the lights in the bathroom, making him look like a refined scum. Is it funny? Of course. Before she could finish her sentence, her lips were slightly warm. Xiangyi was stunned for a few seconds. Don't you think it's funny? It was another warm kiss. Xiangyi didn't know what was going on. It's just very funny. This time, she was carried to the sink where her back was pressed against the mirror. Xiangyi finally realized the danger. The man was smiling, and she could feel his breath on her face. Don't you know best whether I can do it or not? Huh? He enunciated each word clearly and raised his voice at the end. Little Rabbit. Chapter 1039. The next day, by the time Xiangyi woke up, It was already past 10 in the morning. She rubbed her eyes sleepily, turned over lazily, and saw Xianxia by the window. The man was flipping through a stack of scripts, and there was a cup of hot coffee beside his hand, which was still steaming. His white shirt was buttoned up to the top, and he looked refined and restrained. Little did she know that under the white shirt was the mark she had left on his slender neck last night. Thinking of some absurd and messy memories, Xianxia raised her hand and pulled the quilt up, trying to cover her head. Xianxia's deep and magnetic voice sounded in the bedroom. "Tutu, you're awake? Do you want to eat breakfast?" Xianxia instinctively said, "I'm not awake." Xianxia covered her face with the blanket in embarrassment. What kind of behavior was this? It was too embarrassing. The room was silent for a few seconds. The man walked to the bed and tucked her in. He smiled and said, "Then sleep for a while more, okay, baby?" After a while, the girl's muffled voice came from under the blanket. "Don't call me baby." "Then what do you like me to call you? Were you satisfied with the way I called you last night?" Xianxia recalled his hoarse voice last night, his soft moans mixed with desire. His whole body was like a piece of fried, glutinous rice that was charred on the outside and tender on the inside, making sizzling sounds. "I am asleep." The behavior of deceiving oneself, X2. Xianxia pulled the blanket down a little so that the little bunny could breathe smoothly. He kissed the girl's delicate eyebrows gently. "Go to sleep, baby. We'll set off when you wake up." On the internet, when the netizens woke up, they realized that the trending topic had finally changed from hashtag Xianxia can't hashtag to a new topic. Hashtag honeymoon variety show. Hashtag oh wow. Which artiste in the industry is going on a honeymoon? Everyone clicked on it. Li Jinyu V. After several months of preparation, the newly planned travel episode of Two Under One Roof is about to start recording. This time, it will be in the form of a short love documentary. The guest will still be Xianxia. Beep, beep, beep. We're setting off now. Rabbit plane, what the hell? Did Xianxia and Xianxia finally have a new variety show? In the comment section, the fans were already crying tears of joy. Official dog abuse is the deadliest. Sisters, rounding it off, this is the honeymoon variety show. We must support the honeymoon trip of the two newlyweds. Son, tell me which website you posted the video on. I'm going to become a member. Director Lee is best at beautiful and sweet styles. Director Youthful Heart plus top popularity plus stunning beauty. This is simply the strongest idol drama team in the country. How can I deserve this? Woo woo. Half a month later, the first episode of the travel episode of Two Under One Roof was released on Xianxia Video. Before the broadcast, some netizens were pessimistic, saying that Li Jinyu, Xianxia, and Xianxia were too eager to make use of Two Under One Roof to make money and were treating their fans like sheep. However, the day the video was released, it gave everyone a slap in the face. This time, there was no need to become a member of the variety show. It was free to stream. The entire internet was in an uproar. The netizens who were pessimistic were dumbfounded. What's going on? Is this a charity? However, after clicking on the video, everyone realized that it was indeed a short documentary. Each episode was only about half an hour long, which was much shorter than the duration of a typical variety show. Hence, something that made countless variety show directors in the industry jealous happened. A large number of netizens protested. Please become a member. Please increase the duration. Chapter 1040. There were also many people who directly went to the online customer service of Xianxia Video and asked frowny face, "Why don't I need a membership for the travel series? Hurry up and arrange it. I want to get an annual membership first." Customer service. "Hello, dear. We've learned that each episode of the short documentary this time is rather short, so we've decided to stream it for free." Netizens. "Dear, do you think I'm short of money for membership? Please hurry up and upload the exclusive premium long version of the video." Customer service. Customer service. "Okay, dear. Your request has been recorded. I'll give you feedback in a timely manner. Please give me a star for my service." At first, there were still some people who wondered if it was some sort of publicity stunt. For example, membership was not required for the first episode, but for the second episode, membership was required. For the third episode, advanced streaming was required, and for the fourth episode, membership was required plus advanced streaming plus a single episode fee. But soon, everyone's attention was drawn back to the content of the short documentary. Although the duration was short, the quality was online and the images were in high definition, comparable to professional documentaries. In the first episode, Xianxia and Shui went to F-City, the fashion capital. There were two main storylines used in the filming. One was that the two of them went to visit a tourist attraction, while the other was 3 meals a day. When Xianxia began to cook her first Western meal, the real-time pop-up comments were all astonished. Wow, sister, he knows how to cook Western food. I thought Xianxia only knew how to cook Chinese food. I didn't expect her to be so good at Western food, too. I'm impressed. Truffles, snails, caviar, lobster steak, foie gras. Travel expenses are nothing. This is a real budget explosion. In the video, Xianxia was wearing the cute little apron that Xianxia had sewn for her. Every dish she cooked was smooth and pleasing to the eye. Western food had extremely high requirements for the chef's sense of sight, smell, taste, touch, and sympathetic nerves, and Xianxia happened to be a genius in this aspect. Under the high-definition camera, the ingredients were extremely tempting, regardless of whether they were fried or stewed. The final product was juicy and full of flavor, paired with exquisite desserts and suitable grape wine. Just looking at it was a pleasure. Xianxia's explanation of how to do it was added later. The editor used double speed and added a long string of flowery words. Welcome to You definitely won't know how to cook it after watching it. Even if you know how to cook it, you don't have the ingredients. Even if you have the ingredients, it doesn't necessarily look good. If it doesn't look good, it will become a dark cuisine. This program is provided by What Are We Doing Then? I'm the host, Zhen, and my partner, Yi, and special guest, and Yi, and our good friends Kan and Shui. Thank you to I Don't Know. What can you do for their strong support of this program? Remember our slogan, I'm handicapped, I'm proud, I'm saving materials for the country. This segment instantly became the highlight of the variety show, poking at the laughing points of countless netizens, and was made into a short video that was widely circulated. Many years later, it was still a textbook existence for variety shows. This is a story for later, so let's not talk about it for now. In addition to Xianxia's Western food that amazed everyone, the two of them also had a series of similar designs that went viral. Shui and Xianxia were wearing a series of handmade, custom-made couple outfits that were designed by Xianxia and completed with the help of a studio. The price was not cheap, but the stock in the physical stores, official websites, and online stores were all sold out in less than an hour after the program was broadcast. In addition, sports shoes, belts, bags, kitchen utensils, and other similar designs all became popular worldwide. Chapter 1041. On this day, the public once again witnessed Shui and Xianxia's ability to promote products. It was simply terrifying. Some netizens also noticed that the clothes, shoes, bags, and daily necessities of the two were basically all made in China, except for those designed by Hades. Initially, everyone thought that since Xianxia had promoted product from many local brands before, those brands should have sponsored two under one roof. However, the local brands soon released statements one after another. Thank you, Shui Xianxia, for promoting our local brand of mint toothpaste for free. It's not easy to make a local product, and we'll remember the warmth of today's event. We're donating 1 million yuan to charity, and hope that this warmth can be passed on. Congratulations to the travel segment of Two Under One Roof. At the same time, thank you, Shui Xianxia, for supporting our sunscreen umbrellas. Now, our sunscreen umbrellas are not only made in China, they're created by China. Thank you for letting more people know about our sunscreen umbrellas. Today, we're donating 990,000 yuan to charity, and we hope that your love will last forever. Thank you, Shui Xianxia, for advertising how judges kitchenware on the show. Thank you. The words of gratitude and donations converged into a torrent of public opinion. The impact of negative impressions was profound. Xianxia had once been criticized by the entire internet, but now everyone was tearing down her label one by one. The most eye-catching thing was the interaction between Shui and Xianxia. The way the two of them got along with each other was not spectacular. On the contrary, it could be described as plain and ordinary. However, before going out, Shui would check the weather in F City and specially bring a sunscreen umbrella and an umbrella for Xianxia. When Xianxia cooked, she would also seriously consider Shui's taste and would cook Shui's favorite foods and flavors for every meal. When the two of them went shopping, Shui would take the initiative to carry their bags, and Xianxia would also feed him drinks. There would also be many small surprises. For example, when they were rowing, Shui magically pulled out a small bouquet of flowers from behind her back. Another example was when they went to the haunted house at the theme park, and Xianxia gave him a rabbit doll that she sewed herself. In short, it was all in one word. In just one episode, the amount of dog food and the sweetness of the sugar sprinkled made the majority of netizens sigh with emotion. The best love, Shui Xianxia. The untimely couple fans even expressed with tears in their eyes that they could die without regrets. However, at the end of the first issue, there was a suspense. The editing used the form of switching back and forth. Xianxia angrily threw the spoon away. Whoever made it will make it. Anyway, I can't cook. Shui pushed up her glasses coldly. I've never liked anyone. Please don't flatter yourself. The audience? Where? Was this what the production team was doing? Even web authors aren't as slow as you guys. Why was little Sweet Biscuit being abused? The netizens flocked to Li Jinyu's Weibo and flooded his comment section with friendly greetings. Li Jinyu replied, "The next episode will be at 2000 hours next Saturday night. Be there or be square doghead." The netizens. At the same time, Xianxia and Shui had just finished filming the fourth episode when they happened to run into Fu Jiayin, who was filming nearby, as well as Jiang Juju, who was holding Fu Jiayin's arm and blushing slightly. "Ahem, long time no see." Fu Jiayin smiled foolishly and said, "I've been with her for so long, and I didn't expect the two of us to become a couple. This must be fate." Xianxia and Shui looked at each other and smiled. Chapter 1042. After chatting for a while, the topic naturally turned to the official announcement. Fu Jiayin said, I definitely have to make an official announcement. Now, as long as Juju agrees, I'll post it on Weibo immediately. He was an actor, not an idol, so the impact of the official announcement would be relatively small. However, there would definitely be an impact. After all, although he was famous for being a silly comedian, he still had some female fans. Shui asked, "What did your management companies say?" Fu Jian said miserably, "They're pressuring me, and it's hard for me to resist now. At most, I'll just go all out." Jiang Juju looked down and said, "It's okay with me. Your career is more important." Juju, "I'm sorry. I'm not capable enough." "Okay, it's not a secret marriage anyway. Besides, it's quite exciting to be in a relationship secretly. I swear, I'll make it up to you in the future. You must have what other kids have." Seeing that the two of them were acting out a bitter drama with reddened eyes, Xianxia put a hand on her forehead and reminded them. Did you guys forget something very important? If I remember correctly, Fu Jian mentioned previously that his contract with the management company is about to expire." "Yes," Fu Jian said with a dumbfounded expression, "but I'm not very popular now, and no management company has come approach me. Those who have come to me have harsher conditions than this one. They'll ban me immediately if I'm in a relationship." Shui couldn't help but laugh and look at Xianxia. Xianxia also pointed at herself. Fu Jiayin asked foolishly, "Sister E, what's wrong? Are you feeling unwell? Why are you blinking at me so many times?" Jiang Juju asked worriedly, "E, are you sick? They say that doctors don't treat themselves. Why don't I take you to the hospital for a checkup? Nothing is more important than your health." Xianxia said, "I just want to remind you that I, Xianxia, am the CEO of Tomato Entertainment." Fu Jiayin and Jiang Juju were stunned and had yet to react. Xianxia sighed helplessly and said, "Yes, Fu Jiayin, it means that you can call me boss." Fu Jiayin was speechless. "Huh, that's right. I can sign with Sister Yi's company and work for you." Jiang Juju also reacted and exclaimed, "E, I want to be your sister for the rest of my life." After settling the contract issue, Xianxia started to think. Could it be that falling in love would really cause one's IQ to drop? She hurriedly went online and found a set of college entrance examination math questions that were said to be the most difficult in the country. 148 points. The girl muttered in a low voice, "Good, good, he's not too stupid." After all, second brother always got full marks. Fu Jiayin and Jiang Jujiu were speechless. Are we too bad at studying? Why can't I even understand the questions? Shi Sui came in with afternoon tea. Seeing the little girl writing and drawing with a tablet and pencil, she came over curiously and asked, "What are you playing?" Xianxia said casually, "Do you want to give it a try?" Fu Jiayin quickly stopped him. "Don't. This question is too difficult. After all, Xianxia has never been to university." Jiang Jujiu elbowed him and said, "He just didn't go to university. He was the top scorer in science for the college entrance examination. Okay?" Fu Jiayin muttered, "Xianxia has been away from the college entrance examination for more than 10 years. He must have long forgotten all his high school knowledge. She thinks I'm lousy? She thinks I'm old?" Shi Sui smiled and said, "Shall I give it a try?" Xianxia pushed the tablet to him. Half an hour later, Xianxia changed the score of the answers. "How many points?" Jiang Jujiu leaned over and exclaimed, "Wow, 150 points." Fu Jiayin was flabbergasted. "It turns out that I'm the clown." Chapter 1043. "Maybe it's because this set of papers is relatively easy," Shi Sui said in a warm voice. Fu Jiayin struggled and said, Yes, it might be the capital questions." Jiang Jujiu's words shattered his hopes. "Wake up, this is the Suching questions, one of the most difficult math papers in the country." Fu Jiayin was speechless. "Good, I can die with a smile." Smiley face. 3 days later, Fu Jiayin officially terminated his contract with his agency and signed a contract with Tomato Entertainment on the same day. Tomato Entertainment. Welcome actor Fu Jiayin to join our family. The artistes under Tomato Entertainment congratulated him one after another. SEA 7 Jiangchun. Hello, Brother Fu. Lin Jia. Hello, Brother Fu. Molly. Nice to meet you in the future. The most eye-catching thing was Rong Huai. Welcome. Rong Huai. Is that Rong Huai who once appeared on The Small Cut? Everyone clicked on Rong Huai's identity verification and was shocked. Tomato Entertainment has signed a contract with Tomato Entertainment, a freshman at the Capital Film Academy. Little Wolf Cub is impressive. He actually got admitted to the Capital Film Academy. The netizens who had seen The Small Cut still remembered the promise between Rong Huai and Xianxia. After Rong Huai was admitted to the Capital Film Academy, Xianxia signed him to Tomato Entertainment. All of a sudden, it made people sigh with emotion. Sob, sob, sob. This is so inspirational. Rong Huai really did it. Sister, he has also signed him according to the agreement. I can't take it anymore. The after effects of The Small Cut are too great. I still feel like crying when I think about it. However, there were also people who raised doubts and even went to Xiangyi's Weibo to question her. Are you there? The college entrance examination hasn't started yet, and Rong Huai is already a freshman? What a joke. It's understandable that you want to make money by signing artistes, but it's disgusting to fake it like you. I'm also an art student who applied for the Capital Film Academy this year. I can clearly tell everyone that the enrollment process hasn't started yet. How can Rong Huai be admitted? Xiangxia, I had a good impression of you at first, but you indulged your artistes in lying and even falsified certification information to mislead your fans. If you can't be a bad boss, don't be a dog in the manger. Xiangxia, who was overseas, didn't see these comments because of the time difference. However, Rong Huai cannot hold it in any longer. He was young, frivolous, and hot-blooded. He directly posted on Weibo to criticize the netizens. Rong Huai V. You can scold me, but don't scold my sister, okay? His words instantly made Rong Huai the target of public criticism. A ready-made target attracted a lot of firepower. By the time Xiangxia woke up and found out about this, the number of comments on Rong Huai's Weibo had already exceeded 100,000. After learning the whole story, Xiangxia sighed softly. It was something that could be explained in one sentence, But Ronghua was stubborn and did not explain himself. Instead, he exchanged dozens of rounds with the haters. Of course, the young man's trash-talking skills were quite high. Netizens who were watching the show joked that his words were at the level of Smog's. Your parents have gone to heaven. You don't have a mother, do you? Greetings are meant for people. Are you worthy? Be good, little kid. Return the phone to your family. Netizens made an emoticon pack and spread it widely. The last comment was made 2 minutes ago. Xianxia sent him a WeChat message. The next second, the following notification appeared on Weibo. Ronghua deleted a Weibo post. Ronghua deleted The netizens were dumbfounded. Are the staff members in charge of his Weibo account? The haters mocked. Is the grandson scared? In the next second, Ronghua Xianxi's sister, they're fierce to me. The haters were dumbfounded. Chapter 1044. The netizens were about to die of laughter. What kind of little wolf dog turned into a cute little puppy in an instant? However, they felt like they had finally found someone to back them up. Xianxia left an ellipsis, and Ronghua immediately replied, frowny face sister, I know I was wrong. I shouldn't have argued. Even if others scold me, I shouldn't have retorted. Also, I'm not angry because they scolded me. I'm angry because they scolded you. They scolded you so harshly. The netizens, huh? This familiar fragrance, they felt that as long as they had interacted with Xianxia, they would more or less melt into her. What should I do? I've been poked by the wolf cub's younger brother. He's complaining so aggrievedly. He's so adorable. Let's be honest. Although it's nice to have a close sibling relationship, they can't just blindly defend each other. Ronghua was the one who cheated in the first place. Warning, don't forget that Sister E is a magical girl with a 100% chance of slapping others in the face. Her words came true. A few minutes later, Xianxia updated her Weibo and explained the origin of Ronghuai's Weibo account. Xianxia, as far as I know, Capital City Film Academy has a small number of special admission slots in addition to the nationwide enrollment every year. The requirements are extremely high, and one has to go through layers of selection and interviews before being admitted in advance. The young girl's words were concise and comprehensive, but they hit the nail on the head and instantly resolved the debate among the netizens. At first, some people didn't believe it, but soon, some netizens found out about Capital City Film Academy's early admission criteria. Be it appearance, physique, specialty, professional standards, etc., it was even stricter than the unified enrollment. In other words, it was just like the selection for the gifted junior class, where outstanding students were selected in advance. It sounded unfair, but how many people could reach such a stringent standard? The fact that Ronghua could be admitted in advance was enough to prove his excellence. Later on, Capital City Film Academy's official Weibo account also came out to respond and released the list of the early admissions this year. There were only a few people in total. There were genius directors, dubbers, and 2 actors with top-notch looks and acting skills. Everyone's qualifications were beyond doubt. At this point, no one doubted that Ronghua was lying. Some netizens even spontaneously apologized to him. Ronghua didn't care about the slander or praise from the outside world. He only cared about his elder sister. He stared at the phone screen, afraid that he would receive a message from Xianxia, but he was even more afraid that he would not receive a message from Xianxia. Ding, ding, ding. A video call invitation appeared. He held his breath, his fingers trembling slightly, and pressed the accept button. A young girl wearing a floral dress and a straw hat appeared on the screen. Xianxia waved at him and teased. Ronghua, you've become famous overnight, haven't you? Ronghua was obviously a little nervous, and his entire body was stiff. Even when he spoke, he sounded like a robot. I'm sorry, I've caused you trouble. I understand your feelings. If someone scolded my friend, I would also be angry, but Xianxia changed the topic and advised, it's best not to be so impulsive in the future. You have to believe that adults can solve many problems, okay? Ronghua pursed his thin lips and looked down without looking up. He really wanted to say, I don't think of you as a friend. I think of you as, who are you talking to? Ronghua. A moment later, half of Xianxia's face appeared on the screen, and she nodded slightly at him. He hugged Xianxi's slender waist. It was a possessive action. Chapter 1045. Ronghuai looked up and stared at the screen for a few seconds before lowering his head again. No one could see the light in his eyes dimming bit by bit. Actually, the distance between them had always been very far. It was just his wishful thinking that as long as he worked hard, he could get closer, even if it was just a little bit. Unfortunately, it was all in vain. He hated that he was only 17 years old and hated that he met Xianxia too late. Ronghuai, I heard that you're going for special training soon. You have to work hard and control your temper. Also, there should be a lot of scripts for you in the near future. I think you should focus on your studies. You can take on some dramas that don't have many scenes but have a good cast to hone your skills. The girl's voice was soft, and she was really like a gentle and considerate sister as she instructed Ronghuai in detail. Ronghuai did not speak for a long time and only said one word in a low and muffled voice. Okay. As long as it was what she wanted him to be, he would grow up. Xianxia seemed to have sensed his subtle thoughts and whispered a few words to Shui. The man seemed to be dissatisfied and narrowed his eyes slightly. His gaze was deep and dangerous as he sized up Ronghuai on the screen. It was unknown what Xianxia said to him, but Shui left. Before leaving, he even kissed Xianxia's smooth and fair forehead. It was as if he was declaring his sovereignty. Xianxia helplessly chided, "Childish." Those two words instantly caused Ronghuai's world to be in chaos. No matter what, Xianxia would never say that to him in such a tone. Even an outstanding, mature, steady, and successful man like Shui would occasionally find him childish, let alone him. Ronghuai was extremely dejected and listless, unable to cheer up, until Xianxia's gentle voice fell into his ears. "Ronghuai, there's someone I like." She did not ask if he liked her, nor did she say that she did not like him. She was gentle, polite, and good-looking. Yet, she kept him at arm's length. Ronghuai said hoarsely, "I know. Xianxia, I want to share my view of love with you. It may not be correct, and it may not be suitable for you. Just listen to it as a reference. Before you like someone, you have to like yourself first. No one is more important than yourself. For the person I love, I can give, I can sacrifice, I can give everything I have, but there's one thing, you don't live for TA, you live for yourself." The video call ended. It had been a long time. Ronghuai replayed the conversation over and over again. He secretly turned on the screen recording function of his cell phone. Like a traveler in the desert, he would greedily drink even a drop of water when he saw it. Every sentence was the most gentle, but also the most cruel. God knows how many times it was played on a loop. Ronghuai pressed the pause button. F***CK. Don't flatter yourself. I don't like you. A moment later, his eyelashes trembled nonstop. His voice was hoarse, and he sounded like he was about to cry. "I don't like you that much." The young man fidgeted with his hair and punched the sandbag. The heavy sandbag was knocked away and bounced back. He punched the sandbag again and again. Not only was he venting, but he was also suppressing himself. After he was exhausted, the young man half-knelt on the ground, breathing heavily. Patter. There were water stains on the floor. "I like you, but that's all I like." He seemed to have convinced himself. "I can do it." In the empty room, no one answered. It was as if the young man's worries had finally been buried. Chapter 1046. At the beach, Xianxia pressed down on the brim of her straw hat and found Shui. The man was building. An excavator? Was it a man's nature to play with sand and excavators? Xianxia praised. "Wow, so cute." Shui looked up, his peach blossom eyes smiling gently behind his glasses. "Do you want to play?" "Yes." Then, Xianxia watched as Shui pushed the excavator over. Xianxia was speechless. The man looked at her with a faint smile and did not say a word. But there were 4 words written on his handsome face. "I'm not letting you play." Bunny couldn't help but tremble. "I'm just teaching him how to love someone properly. Besides, I think I'm overthinking. Maybe he just likes chicks and doesn't like you at all. No, the way he looks at you is the way a boy looks at a girl," Shui said firmly. Xianxia blinked and hooked her fair arm around Shui's neck. "Then what's the way you look at me?" At this moment, there was a crazy cough from the side. "Ahem. Of course it's the way a man looks at a girl." Xianxi's face burned instantly. She let go of sure sway at lightning speed and widened her eyes when she saw the large group of staff around them. Li Jinyu was about to pass out from trying to hold back his laughter. Sister E, I told you last night that we're going to the beach today to record a scene. Xianxi pretended to be calm. Okay, let's start then. Okay, everyone get ready and start recording. But the two of you have to be careful. Otherwise, you won't pass the audition. Even if you pass, I'm afraid the fans won't be able to take it. Xianxi was expressionless as she sprayed the sunscreen spray. Unfortunately, it couldn't cover the redness from her ears to her neck. Sure Sway reached out his arm. Tutu, I want some too. Xianxi stared at him. Xianxi looked away. Epsilon, I'm not going to spray for you. The overseas recording was in full swing, and Xianxia Video released the second and third episodes one after another. In the second episode, Sure Sway and Xianxi went to the Snow Mountain in D-City. The girls made sushi, tamakoyaki, and homemade hot pot. They ate at the top of the Snow Mountain with Sure Sway and enjoyed the scenery, which made the tourists jealous. Netizens also expressed that if they met Sure Sway or Xianxi during their travels, they would definitely shout, Sister E, don't be ungrateful. Don't force me to kneel down and beg you to give me a bite to eat. In the third episode, Sure Sway and Xianxi went to the Devil's Valley in Milta. Many elite rock climbers from all over the world gathered here. According to the program team's arrangement, the two of them could experience rock climbing once. For the safety of the two, the production team had carefully prepared seatbelts, descenders, helmets, iron chains, and ropes. Sure Sway tried it first. The man was tall and slender, and his movements were agile. An extreme sport like rock climbing seemed to be a piece of cake for him, and he could climb more than 10 meters in minutes. Li Jinyu asked, Is Sister E wearing her equipment? Huh? Where's Sister E? Someone exclaimed. Sister E isn't wearing any armor. She's climbing with her bare hands. The scene was in chaos. The audience could feel the camera shaking, and their hearts were in their mouths. Fortunately, it didn't take long for the camera to return to normal, and everyone could clearly see Xianxi climbing. Oh no, is this rock climbing? Why is she climbing so fast with her bare hands? Even the monkeys in Devil's Valley can't climb as fast as her. The girl climbed to the top and stood at the top of the mountain, asking in confusion, Why aren't you guys up yet? Chapter 10:47. She was wearing a portable camera on her forehead, and from her perspective, she looked down at the production crew and the others at the foot of the mountain. Didn't they say that there was a sightseeing elevator nearby? The production crew was speechless. Sorry, we're still waiting in line for the sightseeing elevator. The netizens who had seen this episode laughed wildly as they spammed the bullet screen. Sister E, rock climbing isn't enough as long as you have hands. No way, no way. Why are you guys taking so long in the elevator? I can't take it anymore. The post-production editing is toxic. Why do they have to split the video into two screens and compare Sister E to a monkey? Help, I'm dying of laughter. Why is Sister E more agile than a monkey? Xianxi scratched her head and looked at Sure Sway again. The production crew just wanted the two of them to experience rock climbing, so they chose a location that was mainly for the scenery. The actual height wasn't too high. Xianxi stood at the top of the mountain with her hands cupped in the shape of a megaphone. She shouted at Sure Sway below. Sure Sway, you're too slow. The man who had just climbed more than 10 meters raised his eyebrows. Sure Sway smiled slightly. Sure Sway began to untie the safety rope. The bullet screen immediately became lively. Woman, you're playing with fire? Warning, high energy ahead. Be careful, it's not a special effect. Is Sure Sway crazy? It's understandable that the Xiang family has ancestral tree climbing skills. But what is Sure Sway doing? How can he climb up without a safety rope and tools? Whoosh! The tools fell, causing the production crew to exclaim in shock. The camera shook again. Obviously, the cameraman was frightened. Li Jinyu was so anxious that he even held the megaphone and shouted, Safety first. We're just recording a short video. There's no need for that. However, something shocking happened. Sure Sway, who was climbing barehanded, was actually faster than with tools. The man used both hands and feet to climb up the uneven rocks like an agile and powerful cheetah in the jungle. It was as if he was leisurely strolling in the jungle and patrolling his territory. The production crew was speechless. Li Jinyu looked sullen. This. Forget it. Remember to mark this part with the words dangerous operation. Do not imitate in the post-production. Later, he mischievously typed 2 words on the screen. Okay, then, it was written in red and bold, as if it was a small advertisement on the street, filling the entire screen. Dangerous, F*** king. Please, do not imitate. Netizens complained in the bullet screen. Is this something I can imitate just because I want to? F***ck. I love Shuringdi's stamina. I thought he was weak, but I didn't expect him to be as fast as Sister E when it comes to rock climbing. Look at the muscular lines on his forearms, the hem of his shirt fluttering in the wind, that inverted triangular figure. He's so boyish. A moment later, Shi Sui climbed to the top of the mountain and stood side by side with Xianxia. The camera they were wearing didn't have high resolution, and the blue light was blurry. However, Shi Sui's smile was still very attractive. Slow. The audience. A car, it's a car. Xianxia was completely unaware of the approaching danger. It's all right. Just all right? Shi Sui asked with an ambiguous meaning. Xianxia thought he was asking about the climbing speed, so she said frankly, it's all right, my big brother is better than you. His climbing speed with his bare hands is twice as fast as yours just now. Shi Sui sneered. The girl looked down curiously. Why aren't they here yet? The production crew. Because we just got on the sightseeing elevator. The post-production caption was full of tears. Monkeys can't compare to you two, but we can't compare to monkeys. Chapter 1048. Amidst the laughter of the audience, the episode ended. The ratings for the travel section on Demi's website were also getting higher and higher. On Demi's website, the maximum score was 10 points. 1 to 4 points was the worst of the worst. 5 to 7 points belonged to the average level. 8 points and above could be said to be a work of praise. The rating for the travel section of 2 Under One Roof had reached an astonishing 9 points. In other words, it was a masterpiece in the eyes of the netizens who participated in the ratings. Relatively speaking, the ratings for movies were stricter while the ratings for variety shows were relatively lax. Even so, 9 points was enough to shock the industry. The highest score for a variety show in the country was 9. 5 points for 2 Under One Roof. In a sense, the travel section could be considered a sequel as it also got 9 points. It was enough to show how much the audience liked it. Some industry insiders predicted that after the travel section ended, it would probably get a score of 9, 2, or 9, 3. In that case, it was equivalent to Li Jinyu creating another legend. Next, the travel section continued to be updated at a steady pace, with high quality and lots of laughs. The number of clicks repeatedly broke records. Shi Sui and Xianxia went to the desert, the grassland, the seaside, and the rainforest. The mode was still travel and food. Every time they went to a place, Xianxia would cook according to the local ingredients. With the broadcast of the overseas version, the travel section could be said to have set off a global tourism craze. Countless netizens would check out the scenic spots that the two of them had visited. The two of them had the same outfits, the same food, the same pose, and so on, which were imitated by people all over the world. In the blink of an eye, it had been 6 days since the 9th episode was broadcast. On this day, a large number of netizens were squatting on Xianxia Video, waiting for the last episode to be broadcasted. The hour hand moved to 7:50 p.m. There were 2 earlier updates, which were released at around 7:50 p.m. Hence, the netizens were used to refreshing the page at 7:50 p.m. They might be able to watch it a few minutes earlier. However, this time, what the netizens refreshed was not a video. Instead, it was a link to the live stream. The netizens were dumbfounded. Everyone clicked on it, and there was a heated discussion in the comments section. What's going on? Isn't the travel section a recorded broadcast? Why is a live stream? Did something go wrong? Could it be that the show hasn't been produced yet, and they're going to cancel it today, so they're doing a live stream? Just as everyone was discussing, the name of the live stream changed to Frowny Face Welcome to the live broadcast of Mr. Shui and Ms. Xianxi's wedding. The live stream seemed to lag, and no one spoke for a long time. A few seconds later, the live broadcast room exploded. Wedding? Live broadcast marriage. This must be fake. How is this possible? Meanwhile, on a small island, it was still daytime because of the time difference. In the dressing room, good boy, Jiang Jujio, Su Tumi, Mo Fei Fei, and other Xiangyi's close friends were all there, all dressed in pink bridesmaid outfits. In the middle of the crowd, Xiangyi looked up. Her delicate and fair face looked even more radiant after the bridal makeup. Sorry, can I have a word with you alone? Nan stammered. Jiang Jujio pursed her lips and said, Hurry up then, the wedding is going to start soon, and it's going to be live-streamed. Okay. The three bridesmaids left. Nan, who was wearing the best man's outfit, spoke incoherently. I've been confessed to. No. I have a friend who has been confessed to. Chapter 1049. Meow. A furry little head popped out from behind Xiangyi. Xiao Naofu took the first plane ride in its cat life. Oh no, tiger life. It was dizzy for a long time and had been sleeping beside Xiangyi for most of the day. But when it heard the gossip, it was no longer sleepy. Anan didn't know that Xiao Naofu could understand human language, so he poured his heart out to Xiangyi in front of it. It's just that, Mr. C. Ahem, not me, it's my friend. Oh, no, it's not Mr. C. It's my friend, who confessed to my friend B. Yeah, that's it. Xiangyi had been putting on bridal makeup and hair for a few hours, so she was a little lazy at first. But when she heard Annan's big news, her gaze immediately became the same as Xiao Naofu's. One person and one cat stared straight at Annan. Oh, I see. Back to half an hour ago. Annan received a video call from Old Master C. After a few sentences, Old Master C began to reprimand him. Why are you fooling around outside every day? How can being a manager be a proper profession? Everything is inferior, but studying is the best. Among all studies, the best is to study medical books and become a doctor. Annan felt wronged. Grandpa, I'm dizzy with blood, needles, and internal organs. I can't bear to read medical books. I get a headache just by looking at them. I really don't have the talent. Nonsense. Your parents are both medical students from famous universities. Why can't you do it? Your parents are so outstanding. So you must be outstanding too. Annan opened his mouth, feeling somewhat helpless. Why was he daddy and mommy's child? In fact, he wanted his parents to have a smart, outstanding, and brave child more than anyone else. Not someone like him, stupid, mediocre, and cowardly. He also wanted to tell Grandpa that the best parents in the world could give birth to smart children, but they could also give birth to stupid children like him. However, he didn't dare to say it, and Grandpa never gave him the chance to. Annan lowered his head and listened obediently to Old Master C's lecture. After criticizing for more than 10 minutes, Old Master C's mouth was dry, so he picked up the teacup and drank some water to moisten his throat. Annan heaved a sigh of relief, thinking that today's torture was over, but he didn't expect Old Master C to start the second round. Look at your hair. They were colorful. Was that the color of a normal person? Also, he's a boy and doesn't look like a man at all. A man must be masculine. Get your ass back here. I'll arrange for you to go to your military medical academy for training. Annan's eyes grew redder and redder, but the more he didn't dare to resist, the angrier the old man became. In the end, he even used personal attacks. If you keep crying, don't come back to this house. Don't acknowledge me as your grandfather. Our Mu family will pretend that there was never a trash like you. At this moment, Annan's phone was taken away. Huh, Mr. C. Si Chuanbai held the phone and said in a neither servile nor overbearing manner, Hello, Grandpa Mu. I'm Annan's colleague. Please allow me to say a few words for Annan. Maybe he's not the best manager, but he's definitely the warmest. Occasionally, he will be negligent or inadequate, but he has a meticulous and passionate heart. He is a person who truly works hard for his career. I believe that what you said today was all out of anger, but please don't hurt Annan like this again. After a pause, he said, You don't want him, I want him. Chapter 1050. With that, Si Chuanbai decisively hung up the video call. Annan's eyes widened. How could Mr. C be so calm and decisive? Boo-hoo. He never dared to hang up on his family. Si Chuanbai turned around and their eyes met. Sorry. Sorry. Both of them spoke at the same time. Si Chuanbai pursed his lips. You go first. I'm sorry to have caused you trouble again. Also, I'm not as good as you say. I know that I can't compare to you in terms of workability, and I can't help my good girl, Xianxia, with her resources. It's only because she doesn't despise me that I can make a living. Annan's voice was as soft as a mosquito's. He was obviously feeling inferior. Si Chuanbai frowned. No, you're very good. You're very capable, and you treat your artists with sincerity. You're definitely qualified to be a manager. Later on, Mr. C said a lot more. Annan couldn't remember clearly. He only remembered that he seemed to have cried. He heard a soft sigh above his head, followed by a warm hand caressing his head. Si Chuanbai rubbed the little colorful fur on his head and said in a serious tone, Since you like me and I like you, why don't we get married? Annan looked up. Huh? Don't worry. Although I don't have much assets, I only have a few properties in South City and a building. I'll add your name to each property. If you like to work, you can work. If you don't, you can collect rent. I'll take care of all the household chores. As for cooking, I've already signed up for a training class. Now I can make basic home-cooked dishes. Wait, Annan interrupted him, his voice trembling. Are you talking to me? What else? Is there a second person here? Annan held his breath. Annan's vision turned black, and he almost fainted. No, this can't be true. Annan closed his eyes, counted from 1 to 99, and opened his eyes. Si Chuanbai's strict and cold face was still in front of him. Annan slipped away without any hesitation. Si Chuanbai took 2 steps forward and paused. Could it be that he had misunderstood something? This is the story of my friend A and friend B. Annan braced himself and finished the story. Xianxia hugged Xiao Naofu, and the cat and human nodded in unison. Okay, I understand. So it was Si Chuanbai who confessed to Annan, but Annan was too flustered and didn't respond. Annan mumbled, Then do you think my friend A and friend B should be together? Xianxia said with a smile, That depends on you. Did little darling discover something? It depends on how you persuade your friend. If one truly likes someone, then age, gender, family background, and IQ are not the biggest obstacles. What's important is whether or not the two of them can walk down this path with determination and tolerance. Annan, I don't know about that either, Xianxia. Then you can tell your friend. If you don't like it, you don't have to force yourself. Communicate with him properly, and we'll still be friends. Annan was in a daze for a long time before he said softly, What if? I like her. Unrequited love was the most humble form of love. The person he liked was as unattainable as the moon. Therefore, he had hidden his love for her in the most unknown corner of his heart. But now the moonlight shone in before Xianxia could speak. Xiao Naofu jumped off her lap and kicked Annan in the face. Hurry up and be with this Huan Miao. Annan woke up from his dream and ran out without looking back. He wanted to climb up that ray of light and land on the one and only moon in this world. P.S. Sinan's story can't be written anymore. There are quite a lot of restrictions now, so let's just assume that the two people in the story are happy and fulfilled good night. Chapter 1051. Looking at Annan stumbling but running forward without hesitation, Xianxi's eyes curved into crescents. They were a perfect couple. Oh yeah, even Xiao Naofu couldn't help but exclaim, You're making me anxious. Meow meow. Although it could speak human language, it still couldn't help but instinctively roar like a tiger. Xianxia rubbed the back of its neck a few times and teased. Xiao Naofu, have you gained weight again? Why do you feel like you've gotten heavier? No. Xiao Naofu was extremely guilty. It just ate an extra can of cat food, 2 bowls of cat food, and some dried fish every day. Besides, little white tiger was the one who fed it, not the other way around. It was as good as not eating at all. Stupid woman, you're really bad at math. Really? Xianxia was very puzzled. Ever since she and Shui started filming the show, they had entrusted Xiao Naofu to Xiang Yi's grandfather. According to Xiang Yi's grandfather, Xiao Naofu's appetite seemed to be quite normal. But why did it become as fat as two cats? Its V-shaped face turned into a small round face, then an oval face. Could it be? Xiang Yi squinted. Someone fed you? Xiao Naofu's fur immediately stood on end. Lord Huhu didn't feed me. They looked at each other. Xiao Naofu pretended to be innocent. Meow, meow, it didn't say anything. It was just an ordinary and mediocre kitten. At this moment, there was a fluctuation in the air. Xiang Yi looked over sharply. What came into view was a pink paw pad. She wanted to pinch it. The little white tiger dug out a hole and exasperatedly said, "Stupid, stupid, stupid. So stupid. You're giving me face just like that. Stupid cat. Fat cat." Xiao Naofu said aggrievedly, "I'm not a cat. I'm a big brain. Oomph. I am. Me too. Look at that ignorant face of yours. Now, I will let you see this Ho-Ho's true body. What is a real brain? Big old axe. Cough, big tiger." The little white tiger cursed in its heart. It was all because of that stupid rabbit and this stupid cat. Both of them had distorted its pure accent. Xiang Yi was also a little curious. What did the little white tiger look like? However, he remained vigilant. The little white tiger sensed it and muttered, "Stupid woman." Its body suddenly enlarged and expanded in the air. Shwa, a white tiger with a snow-white body appeared. Its fur was soft and lustrous, and it danced without any wind. It was majestic and awe-inspiring, with a hint of sacred aura. When he opened his mouth again, even his voice had changed from a childish one to a deep and powerful one. "Fat cat, do you know how powerful this Ho-Ho is now? Wow." Xiao Naofu's pure cat eyes were filled with yearning. "Woo-woo, this is what I want to be." Xiang Yi felt a sharp pain in the depths of her brain, and her face turned slightly pale. Fortunately, her willpower was astonishing, and she didn't show any abnormalities. The sharp pain lasted for about a few seconds, and a few blurry images flashed past, like incomplete fragments. However, among those fragments, the figure of the white tiger gnawing on a carrot appeared. Pudgy, the white tiger in the air, shook and shrank back to its original size like a deflated balloon. It looked at Xiang Yi in shock. How could it be her? Could it be that this is the price Lord Shui had to pay for giving up everything back then? After a moment, Xiang Yi returned to normal and probed. Do you want to eat carrots? It wouldn't be too much to bribe Xiao Naofu to find out the whereabouts of his good friend, little Shiji, right? Chapter 1052. Little White Tiger exclaimed sternly, "I'm not eating." A few minutes later, Little White Tiger munched on the carrot, enjoying it more than a rabbit. "If you have any questions, just ask. I haven't eaten carrots in a long time. These carrots are so fragrant." Xiang Yi asked, "How's little Shiji?" I remember that it's almost done with the mission and has enough points. Although it had a cheat, that guy was really hardworking and had been on the verge of death several times. However, it had finally accumulated enough points, and it was double the points. Did it get hurt? Did it have enough to eat? Did it get bullied, meow? Xiao Naofu asked anxiously. Little White Tiger said in frustration, "Stupid cat. I'm the one who feeds you every day. Atrocious. Why does it care so much about that stupid lion?" Xiao Naofu couldn't be bothered about being called a cat. It asked with tears in its eyes, "Can I see it again?" Little White Tiger said, "You can, but it won't remember you by then. According to the rules, it can retain its memories after being reincarnated as an animal, but it just had to be reincarnated as a human this time." Xiao Naofu was stunned. Xiang Yi frowned too. "Will it forget everything?" "Of course. Even if it remembers, it'll only have a few memory fragments at most. Or if it sees you, it might have a sense of déjà vu." Xiang Yi and Xiao Naofu both fell silent. Little White Tiger swayed its legs in the air, thinking, "Beg me. If you do, I'll consider letting you in through the back door." However, after waiting for a long time, Xiao Naofu pounced into Xiang Yi's arms and sobbed. Xiang Yi stroked its little head and sighed softly. She thought of something and looked at Little White Tiger. "You still owe Xiao Naofu a chance to reincarnate. The little white tiger grinned. I remember. Originally, it could only reincarnate into a white tiger as handsome and charming as me. But that stupid lion also helped it earn some points. What do you mean? Xianxia guessed, and her heart sank. It means that it can also reincarnate as a human, but like little Shiji, it won't have any memories. Xiao Naofu sobbed. I won't reincarnate. I don't want to be separated from this stupid woman. If you don't want it, you can only live for 10 or 20 years as a cat. Sooner or later, you'll have to separate from her. Xiao Naofu was at a loss. What should it do? At this moment, Xiangyi's gentle and quiet voice sounded. Xiao Naofu, give me your paws. Xiao Naofu didn't know what was going on, but it had complete trust in Xiangyi and extended its little paw towards Xiangyi. A soft, furry ball. He held the girl's fair and delicate hand. I believe that we will meet again one day. Even if you and little Shiji have forgotten about me, I'll still be able to tell you apart from the crowd. Trust me, okay? The little white tiger watched this scene with interest. Where did her confidence come from? Xiao Naofu was touched and sobbed. But I don't want to be separated from you. Xiangyi smiled and said, let's pinky swear, it's a deal, okay? The two of them hooked, and the little white tiger said, Xiao Naofu, come with me then. I'll take you to reincarnate now. Don't worry, I'll definitely reincarnate you into a happy, rich, and pampered family. As for little Shiji, I'll just throw it away. As it spoke, it stole a glance at Xiangyi. This stupid woman didn't discover anything, did she? Chapter 1053. Xiao Naofu nodded foolishly with tears in its eyes. However, Xiangyi said, let's wait for a while. It won't be too late to go after the wedding. Xiao Naofu, aren't you going to be my flower boy? Xiao Naofu meowed. Yeah, I almost forgot about the important thing. Little white tiger secretly heaved a sigh of relief. Good that you don't know. Feeling guilty, it coughed and said, little Shiji has enough points anyway. Forget it. Since Fat Cat is so pitiful, I'll let it be the flower boy too. It then began to dig a hole in the air. Wait for me. I'll be back soon. Xiangyi was dumbfounded. Is it that kind? It can't be that. It's here to make up for it because it's guilty of doing something bad, right? At the same time, the live stream of Xiangyi and Sui's wedding had already become a hot topic on Weibo. It was followed by the word explosive. It had also become a hot topic on various overseas social media platforms. It was no exaggeration to say that it had caused a sensation on the internet and even around the world. In the live stream, the number of viewers increased from a few million to tens of millions. This time, the entire technical department of Xianxia worked overtime and even invited many god-level experts to help stabilize the situation. If it were any other live stream website, the live stream would have collapsed. In the live stream, hello everyone. I'm your dear Xiao Yuyu. Li Jinyu waved at the camera with a radiant smile. The audience began to criticize him. Good boy. Mommy's good boy. I'm yelling, son. Don't come out and embarrass yourself, okay? Hurry up and take a picture of Sister E and Shui. Take a picture of the wedding. You better take a picture of the bridal chamber and send me a copy. Li Jinyu didn't care about the teasing in the live stream, which was actually quite rare in the industry. Many artists were eccentric and stubborn, and Li Jinyu, who could get along well with netizens, was an exception. Okay. Xiao Yuyu is disgusting. Xiaoli, will that do? Li Jinyu seemed to be helpless. Today, Xiaoli will bring you guys to watch the wedding of Shui and Xiangyi. Let everyone experience what it feels like to be a couple on the spot. Dang. This is the main venue of the wedding. The camera turned at the right time to show the scenery. The architectural style was like a church, and the interior was romantic and fresh. The main colors were white and pink. Flowers were flown in by air everywhere. It was like a sea of flowers. Just the floral design alone had shocked countless people. Professionals. What kind of godly design is this? This color scheme, this flower arrangement, this design, this combination. There were at least dozens of flower materials. Many of them were rare breeds. How much money would that have cost? Ordinary netizens. F*CK. It was F*King Beautiful. In front of the screen, the netizens frantically took screenshots. When the camera panned to the audience, everyone from the Xiang family was there. Everyone's hands that were taking screenshots sped up. This whole family was too good-looking, especially Madame Xiang. Her temperament made everyone realize what it meant to be a lady from a respectable family. She was the daughter of a socialite. However, some netizens also noticed that there was an empty seat. Where's Big Brother? I have a bold guess. Me too. Sob, is Xiangyi going to walk the red carpet with Xiangyi? I can't take it anymore. I'm going to cry before it even starts. I believe everyone's done watching. Why don't we go into a commercial break? Hey, who designed the gift of smashing a brick? Can't you spend money to buy spicy sticks? Why did you spend money to smash my Shaoli? Chapter 1054. After Li Jinyu joked around for a while, a staff member gestured to him and he immediately corrected himself. Hee, I'm just teasing you guys. There's no advertisement placement today. The wedding is about to begin. As soon as he said that, the two MCs appeared. A bunch of exclamation marks appeared in the live stream. One was a prominent figure in the entertainment industry, a legend from 20 years ago, and the first person to win an Oscar, Zhao Minglang. The other looked ordinary, with an average appearance and height. When placed in a crowd, he would simply vanish into the crowd. Someone mocked in the live stream. Inviting Zhao Minglang is decent, but inviting such an ordinary person is a little degrading, isn't it? As soon as he posted this comment, he realized that the bullet screen was filled with people calling him Daddy. He couldn't help but widen his eyes. Daddy, I'm your long-lost son. Are you guys shameless? Go to the side, this is my daddy. Daddy, I've spent all my pocket money this month. Can you transfer me another 5 million? Those who mocked him were still confused. Who is this person? Why are they calling him Daddy? Is this some kind of new meme? Soon, someone explained. Wan Jing was the president of the Wuxia Chamber of Commerce, and his businesses involved farming, animal husbandry, and fishing. To put it simply, he reared more than half of the country's pigs, ducks, fish, and geese. The most admirable thing was that he had been working hard to develop high-tech farming, breeding, and planting. Some people realized that Little Rabbit Farm was working with the Wan family. Was such a small farm really that impressive? Then, its owner, Xiangyi, damn it. In an instant, those who came to their senses began spamming the bullet screen with comments such as Sister E is awesome, Sister Yi's reputation, and Sister E is forever God. Zhao Minglang and Wan Jing pushed each other back and forth, and in the end, Wan Jing picked up the microphone first. Hello. Wan Jing tested the microphone and sounded particularly honest and approachable. Hello, everyone. I'm Wan Jing. Today, I'm especially honored to be invited to be the MC for the wedding of Miss Xiangyi and Mr. Shi Sui. Everyone noticed this detail. He said Xiangyi's name first. I met Xiangyi when she was 16 years old. She cultivated the super corn and super soybean seeds, which provided a great help to the country's piglets. Ahem, I digress. Wan Jing had actually come for Xiangyi. Seeing that the little girl has found her Mr. Right, I'm happier than anyone else. Today, I'll give each of the guests a piglet. Laughter rang out at the scene, and some people even jeered, "Are you still alive?" The laughter became even louder. In a live stream, the netizens were calling him Daddy online. Dad, can't you just give me one? Wan Jing gave a few more blessings and passed the microphone to Zhao Minglang. Zhao Minglang was over 50 years old, but he took good care of himself and looked like he was only in his 30s. He was still as elegant as ever. It's my honor to stand here. Thank you, Mr. Shi Sui and Miss Xiangyi, for your invitation. Shi Sui is a young, excellent, and capable young actor. He's also a mature, steady, and responsible man. I hope that in the future, he can create more glory in his career and be a good husband and father in his marriage. Now, let's welcome the groom, Shi Sui. Shi Sui adjusted his tie and cufflinks and appeared in front of everyone. His black suit and white shirt accentuated his broad shoulders and long legs. His hair was combed back, and his peach blossom eyes seemed to be dyed with the spring breeze. Let's welcome the bride, Xiangyi. Everyone's eyes turned to the end of the red carpet. Chapter 1055. At the scene, a small symphony orchestra played the wedding march. Amidst the sacred and romantic music, Xianxia appeared in front of everyone in a white wedding gown, holding onto her brother, Sangchen's arm. Next to the tall and sturdy Sangchen, Xianxia looked slender and petite. The wedding gown she was wearing was exquisite and gorgeous, yet it still retained the vivacity and sweetness of a young girl. The hemline of the gown was decorated with countless fine diamonds, which reflected a bright and dazzling light. All of them were sewn by Xianxia needle by needle, and no one else had touched them. It was truly a princess wedding gown prepared for a little bunny. The baby fat on her fair little face gradually faded, and she began to have a gorgeous face. She was wearing a beautiful crown on her head, a necklace on her slender swan neck, a bracelet on her milky white wrist, and a snowflake necklace on her earlobes. They were all priceless jewelry. Behind her, Xiao Naofu and little Shiji were wearing bows around their necks. The cat and dog seemed to have gained sentience as they followed behind and raised the petals with their little paws. The haters appeared in the live stream. Who uses cats and dogs as flower children? That's so disrespectful. Yeah, flower children, flower children. They should be young boys and girls in the first place. Why force pets to do things that go against their nature? She must have abused them in order to train them to scatter the petals. As a caring person of the Animal Protection Association, I strongly protest against such behavior. This time, the spicy tutu girls, who had always been passive, stood up. Do some people grow their mouths just so they can't speak human language? The Shursui sisters were even more direct. It's a joyous day. Shut up if you don't want to die, smiley face. As for the untimely couple, they were even more furious. Whoever stops my husband and wife from getting married today, I'll have an irreconcilable feud with that person. Even the netizens were displeased and stood up to send their blessings, drowning out the comments of the retards. Everyone watched as Xianxia walked towards Shursui. Sangchen stopped in his tracks and secretly gritted his teeth. He really couldn't take it lying down. However, when he saw little Bunny looking at Shursui with glowing eyes, he felt bitter and indignant. But there was nothing he could do. Shursui, Sangchen said in a low and powerful voice that seemed to be cold, making the guests below the stage feel their hearts skip a beat. The netizens were also on tenterhooks. They had a feeling that the devil was going to run away with his sister in the next second. However, this was the scene that they had been waiting for. Sangchen placed Xiangyi's hand. Shursui's palm. I'll watch her grow up. In the future, please protect her well. I don't care what the world says, but even if she becomes someone's wife and mother, she will always be my sister. After a few seconds, the man said in a hoarse voice, From today onwards, I'll hand my sister over to you. Xianxia felt a lump in her throat and tears welled up in her eyes. Sangchen wiped her tears away. He wasn't good at coaxing people, and he had probably given all his patience and gentleness to little Bunny. Don't cry. Tutu is the most beautiful bride today. Below the stage, the Xiang brothers were all teary-eyed. Madame Xiang wiped the corners of her eyes with a handkerchief before wiping them for Xiang Yin. Xiang Yin insisted, What are you wiping for? I'm not crying. Madame Xiang was speechless. You're clearly wetting the handkerchief. Forget it. I'd better not expose this old man. What Sundara? Chapter 1056. On the stage, Shursui held Xiangyi's hand tightly and said in a deep voice, I will protect Tutu with my life. Sangchen nodded and strode off the stage, not daring to look at Xiangyi again. In the live stream, the netizens burst into tears. Big Brother's words are so sweet. Oh my God, are my eyes playing tricks on me? Big Brother's eyes are red. Although everyone teases Sangchen for being a demon, I want to say that he's Xiangyi's guardian angel. The two MCs were also moved. However, they still had to continue presiding over the wedding. Wan Jing and Zhao Minglang looked at each other, after which Zhao Minglang gestured for them to proceed. Wan Jing straightened his expression and said loudly, Shursui, are you willing to marry Xiangyi and make her your wife? And for the rest of your life, be it good times or bad, you will be loyal to each other and never leave each other? Shursui said without hesitation, yes. Zhao Minglang continued, Xiangyi, Shursui, are you willing to marry Shursui and make him your husband, and for the rest of your life, Be it good times or bad, you will be loyal to each other and never leave each other. Xianxia said firmly, yes. Today, I am here to witness the marriage of the two of you. I hope you will grow old together and live happily ever after. Today, I am here to witness the marriage of the two of you. I wish you a happy marriage and have children soon. The crowd immediately cheered. Xianxia wagged its tail excitedly, only to have its tail hooked by little Shiji. Xianxia was still immersed in joy and didn't realize it at all. It was looking at Shui and Xianxia, but little Shiji was looking at it. Little Shiji quietly inched closer to it. Ah! Blessings from all over the world filled the comment section. Congratulations. Congratulations. Congratulations, newlyweds. I am the Civil Affairs Bureau. I declare you legal. Shaoli, already have a travel story. Hurry up and plan the baby taking part. Under everyone's gazes, Shui smiled. Hello, Mrs. Shi. Xianxia smiled gently. Hello, Mr. Shi. The crowd was in an uproar. Kiss me, kiss me. Quick, 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 give me a kiss. Director Li, hurry up and come on stage to massage his head. Li Jinyu laughed and scolded. F***ck, you guys, do you think it's my turn? In the next second, Shui held the back of Xianxia's head. His eyes were deep and seductive, revealing an indescribable depth. A kiss landed on Xianxia's lips. Under the transparent dome, two figures seemed to be bathed in the light. Wow! At the scene, some people clapped excitedly, some cheered, and some whistled. After a long time, Shui finally pulled away from Xianxia. Li Jinyu urged, Come on, let's take a photo together. There were actually not many people invited to the wedding this time. Everyone squeezed together, and there was just enough space on the stage. The netizens in the live stream had already begun spamming the screen. Check in as a memento, take a screenshot. Let me squeeze too. At the scene, Xianxia had her grandparents for brothers, uncles, and aunts by her side. There were her good friends Jiang Jujio, Su Tumi, and Imo Feifei. There were also the adorable Xianxia and little Shiji. There was also Shui, whose fingers were tightly intertwined with each other. Everyone's smile was incomparably brilliant. 3, 2, 1. With a click, the photographer pressed the shutter. Everything froze at the most beautiful moment. Chapter 1057. After a rainstorm, the temperature in southern city plummeted. It had been some time since the wedding. In the afternoon, in Little Rabbit Manor, Xianxia was wrapped in a small blanket and staring at the photo of Xianxia and little Shiji on the tablet. How are they now? Time turned back. After the live stream of the wedding ended, the netizens finally found out that Shui and Xianxia's wedding venue turned out to be Iceland. Besides, Shui had bought that island when she was 24 years old and named it Tutu Island. Everyone thought, when Shui was 24 years old, Sister, he was only 17 years old? That dog of man has indeed been harboring designs on Sister, E for a long time. Sister, Mommy, brother, uncle, and grandpa were all furious. The fans who were in favor of the couple were extremely sweet. The sweetest couple in the entertainment industry is definitely the untimely couple. Shui and Xianxia's wedding was celebrated on the internet for several days. However, Xianxia welcomed the time to bid farewell to Xianxia and little Shiji. On Iceland, Xianxia huffed and puffed as it built 4 snowmen. Xianxia could barely recognize that the bigger one was Shui, the smaller one was her, and the other 2 were little Shiji and itself. Is paw cold? Xianxia picked up Xianxia and stuffed its chubby paws into her gloves. Xianxia said, I'm not cold at all. Achoo! Little Shiji moved closer to it and tried to transfer its body temperature to it. Okay. I told you that I would give you a good reincarnation. Little White Tiger said impatiently in the air. However, it somehow felt a little upset when it saw Xianxia's red eyes. Last 5 minutes. To her surprise, Xianxia refused. No need, I'll leave now. It jumped onto the ground and raised its chubby little face. Hey, dog of a man, you must take good care of this stupid woman in the future. Shui raised her eyebrows, but she was too lazy to argue with it. Xiao Naofu turned his face away, refusing to look at Xiangyi. He only said in a muffled voice, "I will remember you. I definitely will. I'll find you." Sob. It sobbed. "So you must wait for me," Xiangyi said in a nasal voice. "Yes." "Goodbye, stupid." Xiao Naofu paused. Its icy blue eyes were clear and flawless, and its voice was soft as it called out Xiangyi's name seriously for the first time. Xiangyi. Then it walked into the hole that little white tiger had dug. Little Shiji nodded at Xiangyi and Shui before following closely behind Xiao Naofu. In a flash, so many days had passed. Xiao Naofu should have successfully reincarnated, right? Xiangyi wrapped herself in the blanket and took a sip of the scented tea on the small coffee table. It was her favorite jasmine tea, but at this moment, she felt nauseous when she smelled its fragrance. Was it because she had been eating too greasy food recently? Just as Xiangyi was about to check her pulse, her phone rang with its exclusive ringtone. The corners of her mouth curled up slightly, and she accepted the video call. Shui's handsome face appeared on the screen. The man was on set, and there were people walking past behind him. "Tutu, are you hungry?" Xiangyi said helplessly. "You just called an hour ago. Who would have thought that Shui would become so clingy after marriage?" "Sorry, Tutu, if you don't like it. I'll try my best to contact you less." Shui looked down, looking weak, helpless, and pitiful. "But can you contact me at least 10 times a day? If not 8 times? Xiangyi was speechless. Chapter 1058. After coaxing Shui for a few minutes, Shui reluctantly agreed. They contacted each other 5 times a day. That was just a video call. Basically, the two of them would share their daily lives whenever they had a meal or saw something interesting. Before hanging up the video call, Xiangyi casually mentioned that she felt a little uncomfortable. Shui nodded calmly and said, "Okay, got it." It was past 8 o'clock in the evening. Xiangyi lay on the sofa and watched a movie for a while, only to feel extremely sleepy. How strange. Her biological clock was very accurate. She would usually get sleepy around 10 o'clock. "I seem to be getting sleepy a little early today." Her cell phone vibrated, and Xiangyi forced herself to look at it. "Jiang Jujiu. I'm pregnant." "Jiang Jujiu. Sob. I'm so nervous." "Jiang Jujiu. What should I do? What should I do?" "I read a sadomasochistic novel last night. It's about a husband who would imprison his wife and dig out her heart, liver, spleen, lungs, and kidneys for the sake of his lover. There's also a Rose who would come to the door and humiliate her before asking for her baby's umbilical cord blood. What if it happens to me too?" Xiangyi, Fujian probably doesn't have the guts to do that." "Xiangyi, I suggest you keep the audio and video recordings as evidence and hand them over to the police in time. Let the scumbag couple be tried by the law. The penalty for illegal detention is at least 3 years of imprisonment. The penalty for selling human organs is more than 5 years of imprisonment. The penalty for intentional homicide is death, life imprisonment, or more than 10 years of imprisonment." Jiang Jujiu was speechless. She suddenly felt much calmer. "Xiangyi, by the way, I have to correct some common medical knowledge. There are 5 major principles for organ transplants. First, informed consent. Second, respect the principles. Third, effectiveness. Fourth, no commercialization. Fifth, confidentiality. Sixth, ethical review. In addition, there may be rejection after the transplant. Immediately afterwards, a bunch of medical terms made Jiang Jujiu's head spin. She hurriedly made a video call. After the call was connected, Jiang Jujiu rambled on and on. Thousands of words could be summed up into 4 words: a loss. Xiangyi patiently told her some things to pay attention to in the early stages of pregnancy and recommended a few books. Although Jiang Jujiu was extremely talented in the violin, she would get a headache whenever she read. She said in distress, "Okay, I'll try my best to read." Xiangyi said, "Not only you, but Fu Jiayan should also learn more about it. Here, take a look at him." Jiang Jujiu spun her cell phone and took a photo of Fu Jiayan, who was in the corner. The man cried miserably. "Wu, Jujiu and I have a baby." Jiang Jujiu sighed and said, I just think Fu Jiayin is too childish. If it were Shi Sui, he definitely wouldn't be like this. Xiangyi couldn't help but laugh. After chatting with Jiang Juzhou for a while, she suddenly realized something and said goodbye to her before hanging up. Xiangyi checked her own pulse. Xiangyi nodded calmly. At this moment, the sound of the fingerprint lock being unlocked was heard. Xiangyi looked at the door, only to see two travel-worn figures appear in front of her in the dark of the night. Sichuanbai's face turned pale. Sister E, can I use acupuncture to treat motion sickness? Yes. Xiangyi hurriedly went to look for the medical kit and asked curiously, Mr. C, I thought you don't get car sick? Sichuanbai said feebly, You'll have to ask your husband about that. He drove today. Shi Sui said innocently, Maybe I drove a little too fast. Sichuanbai was very tired. How can you call that a little too fast? You were driving at the speed of a racer, okay? Chapter 10:59. Xiangyi smiled and said, His driving skills are good, right? Sichuanbai wanted to complain, but he suddenly remembered that Xiangyi could drive the car with special effects and immediately shut up. After removing the needle and disinfecting it, Xiangyi found the right acupoint and performed acupuncture on Sichuanbai. After a while, Sichuanbai said with surprise in his eyes, I don't feel dizzy anymore. It works really quickly. Mr. C, it's good that you're all right. Why don't you stay and rest tonight? No, Nin is still waiting for me at home. Sichuanbai glanced at Shi Sui, who was smiling ambiguously. If he really stayed, this possessive dog of a man would definitely set him up in the future. Shi Sui and Xiangyi walked Sichuanbai to the door. On the way back, Xiangyi said casually, I'm going to be a mother. Huh? Are you a fan? Shi Sui thought that she and Jiang Juzhou were watching the recently popular talent show and were either fans of the contestants or fans of the contestants. Xiangyi shook her head and said, You're going to be a father too. Shi Sui said calmly, Okay. The two of them took a few steps forward, and all of a sudden, Shi Sui stopped in his tracks and grabbed her slender wrist. Xiangyi asked in puzzlement, What's wrong? Shi Sui's atoms apple bobbed, and his gaze was even darker than the night sky. His deep voice trembled slightly. What did you say? I'm going to be a mother, and you're going to be a father. Shi Sui took a deep breath and asked, Are you pregnant? Yes, my pulse is stable, and the baby and I are both very healthy. Xiangyi was very confident in her medical skills. If she really couldn't do it, she still had her grandfather around. Shi Sui stood rooted to the ground for more than 10 seconds. He took off his jacket and draped it over Xiangyi's body. He wanted to carry Xiangyi back, but was afraid that it wouldn't be safe, so he carefully held onto Xiangyi. I'll hold you, and let's talk inside. It's too cold outside. It seemed logical and calm, but Xiangyi could tell that his voice was trembling even more. Xiangyi wanted to laugh. It's normal to be pregnant. Don't be too nervous. Shi Sui did not say a word, and just supported her steadily. In the living room, Shi Sui helped Xiangyi to sit on the sofa and covered her with a blanket. She lowered her eyes, and no one knew what she was thinking. Are you unhappy? Xiangyi guessed. I understand. Not everyone likes children. Shi Sui's voice was hoarse. I'm not unhappy. He held Xiangyi's hand and pressed it against his heart. Bang, bang, bang. The touch on his palm was warm and strong. His heartbeat was far beyond normal. Shi Sui's deep eyes were filled with confusion and panic. I never thought that I would have a child. Xiangyi blinked and seemed to have realized something. She wrapped her arms around Shi Sui's neck and asked gently, Are you afraid? Shi Sui laughed at himself. Yes, he was afraid. I'm sorry. I should be protecting you and the baby. Let me sort out my emotions. It's okay. There was a sweet smile in her soft voice. Protecting is mutual. I will protect you too. When the baby grows up, it will also protect you. No matter how dark his childhood was or how cruel human relationships were, he had never shed a single tear. At this moment, for the first time in his life, Shi Sui had the urge to cry. He leaned his forehead against Xiangyi's. I love you. Xiangyi smiled. I love you too. In the void, little white tiger covered its eyes with its paws and only peeked at the two of them through the gaps. That fat cat was already in Xiangyi's stomach. It wasn't biased.